Chapter 61, Rat Eyes. Well, it turned out that it was Rat King and Earthworm. I didn't expect these two would run into each other. They also clashed. Both were quite vengeful. They had very strong revenge. These two met together and did not fight. The world is turned upside down and will never give up. No matter which one wins, which one dies, it is a huge benefit to me and to the entire Xuanwang village. Quote. Yi Yishanxing could not help but give birth to a joy. This is an unexpected delight. Absolute surprise. Yi, why this kind of accident is extremely lucky for Xuanwang village. Maybe you can kill two birds with one stone and solve two powerful enemies in one fell swoop. It seems that there is no end to my Xuanwang village. If not, the Golden Rat King took the rats with him to the village from the ground. I am afraid that the people in the entire village will be stricken. My Xuanwang village will be completely destroyed because of this. Defeated, no matter how difficult it is to rise. The Rat King's wisdom is not low. Unfortunately, it can't be counted. There is a digging worm in the underground of Xuanwang village. The rat is not as good as the sky. Quote. Yi Yixing sneered and said, the killing in his eyes became stronger and stronger. This is really God's will, and I am always in luck. The appearance of the Golden Rat King immediately made the rat group outside the valley follow the riots, one by one with red eyes, and launched an impact into the valley without hesitation. Obviously, to rush into the valley to join Rat King. If you want to go there, ask me if I don't agree. Kill. Yi Yixing sneered and strode forward. Eyes flashed black and white again. In a blink of an eye, 8 yin and yang locks appeared directly in front of them, and the first time they broke down into 648 yin and yang rings, flashing black and white light, toward the whistling rats. Extremely accurate fall. When the yin and yang ring fell on the body, immediately, a large number of murderous rats fell to the ground, rolling wildly. Kill, brothers, follow the protagonist, kill the past. Wang Dahu roared. With a wave of his hand, a rat lying on the ground was split directly in half. After becoming a monk, his power changed dramatically. Compared with the original, it has increased several times. Now, wielding a knife, the power is infinite. Go up, the protagonist is shielding us from the wind and rain, in the forefront. The power of these mice is suppressed by the protagonist's magic power. If even such a mouse cannot be killed, we are still a fart soldier. There are soldiers also roared. Holding a wooden stick, he smashed it on the mouse's head. A stick smashed his head and burst his brain. Shocking. The number of yin and yang rings is constantly increasing. Now more than 600 are suppressing them together. On the battlefield, they are almost invincible. It is even more disadvantageous to deal with the rats in front of them. In addition, there are more than 300 soldiers behind them. Immediately after the rats were suppressed, they rushed up and killed all the fallen rats on the spot. The efficiency was very high. It was almost a few breaths, and all the yin and yang rings were pulled into the eyes of yin and yang with a row of mouse souls. But the number of rats that rushed over was too large, and they continued to fight with all the soldiers. In the face of a dense group of rats, even if more than 300 people are all three back to back, facing the enemy together, they still have wounds on their bodies. The yin and yang ring kept flying out. Time and time again, the surrounding swarm offensive was forcibly suppressed. Even if it is only 300 people, in the face of tens of thousands of murderous rats, the offensive of the rats will be suppressed again and again, and the number of rats that can pass through the passage is not large. Has blocked most of the rat population. A mouse rushed towards Xuanwang village. Sick a mouse, watching a large number of people gathered in the open space of the village, with bloodthirsty light in his eyes, fiercely slaughtered in the past. Boo-how, no, you can't let these mice rush in. Everyone picks up their tools and goes together to die. It's our men who die first. Shang, go up, the village head, they block the rats in front. These are just fish that leak the net. We are not eggless puppets. Killing, you must not let the fathers and folks behind you look down. In the village, one by one, the old men had a horizontal heart and a stubble in their necks. They picked up various weapons, carried a hoe, carried a wooden stick, and carried an axe. They stood under the torii in Xuanwang village, and looked fiercely. He rushed over the mouse. Although it has only been less than 2 days since entering this era, it has been completely inspired by the cruelty of this era. In particular, Yi Tianxing takes the lead in the face of fierce monsters. It stimulates the viciousness of being suppressed in the body for countless years. The soldiers who are raging in a hurry, what kind of soldiers will be brought out, what kind of leaders, and the people they lead are also different. Even Yi Tianxing rushed to the front regardless of life and death. Not only were the soldiers encouraged, but even the villagers in the village were greatly affected. One by one, the blood was rolling, their blood was still hot, the backbone, are straight. One by one, even if I was really scared, I didn't back down. But before waiting for them to hand in with the rat-short soldiers, they saw that the two arrow towers standing in the village attacked directly, and felt the thick killings from the rats in the first time. In the arrow tower, a crossbow with black lights flashing out like lightning, accurately smashed the huge mouse that had been slaughtered, directly pierced the body, and brought out a blood flower. And the black crossbow, after passing through the body and nailing the mouse to the ground, turned into a black light spot and naturally dissipated in the void. However, the black spots formed during the disintegration seemed to contain a strange Dao Yun inside, covering the body that was shot. This is not a real crossbow, but an energy crossbow that is gathered by the arrow tower to gather the vitality of heaven and earth in a unique way. Shoot out and it will dissipate naturally in a moment. Back to heaven and earth. The arrow tower itself contains a magical energy pool, which gathers the vitality of the world and condenses the crossbow. But nowadays, in the first stage of the yellow rank, the crossbow arrow box in the arrow tower can only hold 9 crossbow arrows at a time, that is, it can shoot 9 crossbow arrows continuously and uninterruptedly, like a storm. However, after shooting out in one shot, the arrow tower needs to intermittently breathe out of the crossbow in the crossbow box. Basically, one breath can condense an energy crossbow. If it is shot one by one, it is equal to 1 crossbow can be shot in each breathing time. This point, to a large extent, is no different from the uninterrupted continuous shooting of the marksman. 2 arrow towers burst out at the same time. In an instant, all the crossbow arrows in the original crossbow box were fired, and 18 crossbow arrows forcibly shot a murderous mouse. At the same time they were shot, the bodies of the rats disappeared strangely on the battlefield, moved silently to the arrow tower, and were absorbed and refined by the arrow tower. But next, shoot the crossbow one by one. Each one took away the life of a mouse. The cricket is not slow. It was originally a sporadic fish with a small number. It was shot by the arrow tower, and it was impossible to get close to the village, so it was shot. Awesome arrow tower. This is a treasure taken out by the village head. It is really powerful. These mice can't approach the village at all, and all of them were shot. However, it seems that even the corpses are missing. These arrow towers will eat monsters. It's safe, there is an arrow tower, and our village is very safe. These mice can't get near. The men who had planned to protect the village, and the old and weak women and children behind them, witnessed the situation and showed excitement. These 2 arrow towers are the most trusted patron saints. Squeak. At this moment, in the valley open space, the assassination between the Golden Rat King and the Digging Worm has reached the point of fever. The speed of the Golden Rat King is extremely fast, and it moves like a golden light. Pulling out a residual image, if accidentally, it will be torn to pieces, but the Digging Worm is even more terrible. The concentrated sulfuric acid in the body opens and sprays, and a spray is like a heavy rain. Any drop falls on the body will flesh, and will be eroded in a blink of an eye. No bones left. The rats that siege the digging worms around the Rat King around the cricket are under the spray of sulfuric acid, causing heavy casualties. There was no bone left. Also, digging groundworms in enlarged bodies are hardly shocking. Some mice grabbed them with their paws. Instead, when eating up, www.novelhall.com, the paws were burned with meat. Only when the Golden Rat King's claws fall on the body, will it tear a cricket wound on the digging worm and shed red blood. But in a blink of an eye, healed, a small wound, it is impossible to cause a fatal threat to it. But the speed of the Golden Rat King is too fast. Even if it is sulfuric acid spray, it is impossible to fall on the Golden Rat King. I just made the surrounding ground hollow. However, after some killings, both fierce beasts also provoked anger. I only saw that when the Golden Rat King saw the digging worm being harassed, and turned around to deal with the rat squirrels around him, he slammed forward, staring at the digging worm's head, and there were green beans like eyes golden light. From the eyes of the Golden Rat King, you can see that 2 golden divine lights burst out. Just like the essence, that divine light is only a few inches long, looks funny, but can fly out of the eye. Like 2 hidden weapons with golden light, they stabbed at the head of the earthworm in an instant. Talented supernatural power mouse eyes. Fatal tactics inch light. It's just that the eyes of the mouse are showing up, and the distance can't be too far away. You can only cast if you are close, at least with the current ability of Rat King. This outbreak was so fast that he couldn't even breathe, and came to the head of the digger. The digging worm can already feel the terrible sharp edge transmitted from these two golden lights. Absolutely cut gold and jade. The digging groundworm turned his head in an instant. This turn, directly facing the golden rat king, opened a large mouthful of sulfuric acid. If you have a head and brain, you will directly enclose the golden mouse king. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please to reading. Chapter 62. Grow in the Bones. Chew open black lens bracket recommended collection close black lens bracket. Neither of them are fuel-efficient lamps. When the king of rats wants to dig the ground worm against its own rat and rat, it depends on its own speed to make a surprise attack and kill each other. This ground worm is not a mess. After discovering that the speed of Rat King could not help himself, he immediately pretended to deal with the stinky rats around him, but in fact, he was waiting for the Rat King to attack. This can react in an instant. The Mole King did not expect that the digging worms responded so quickly, and the digging worms did not think of the talented supernatural powers of the Rat King and the Rat Eye. The two were very cunning. When they met together, they put them in danger at the same time. Squeak. Ha! The golden inch of light stabbed directly into the head of the digger, and instantly stabbed in from the front and broke out from the back. Two large holes of crickets were blasted out at once, and the brain in the head was blasted into thinness. But the last sulfuric acid sprayed by the earthworm is not a joke. The corrosive power is more terrible than any sulfuric acid. Even the golden rat king, after being sprayed, also made a loud scream on the spot. The golden hair on the body is constantly corroding, and even the fur is rapidly melting, exposing flesh and blood, exposing the bones, and the internal organs can be seen. The picture is very tragic. Even the golden rat king desperately digging up the rotten part of his body is useless. The frontal was sprayed with sulfuric acid, and there was no piece of meat on his body good. Moreover, the blood in the body is evaporating strangely and vanishes. The terrible heat ignites the body completely. That sulfuric acid is too overbearing. The Mole King rolled wildly on the ground, screaming. The digging worm did not completely die. This guy is too tenacious. Even if the body is cut off, he can live again with the other half. Now his head is blown out, and he has not completely died. Still tumbling on the ground, many mice were directly crushed to death while tumbling. However, if there is no accident, obviously, it will not be long. The killing of Karayaguchi gradually subsided. A large number of rats, after seeing the golden rat king dying on the ground, and the flesh and blood had been corroded, became frightened and fled outward. The large rat population collapsed completely. Sir, 3 brothers were killed and many more were injured. After the killing of the king, the tiger came to Yi Tianxing in a ***** body, and the awkward look of the king reported. Bring the bodies of the brothers who died in battle. Yi Tianxing nodded his head. There were casualties. This is a very midfield thing. If it wasn't for himself, the 300 people would all die in the rats. No one can survive. The 3 corpses were quickly delivered to Yi Tianxing. Although some parts were not complete and some flesh was eaten by the mice, the whole was still complete. Before they died, they were fighting desperately, without shrinking, from the position before death. You can see it. You go, die for the war. Even if you die, the spirit will live forever. With a wave of his hand, Yi Yixing flashed a strange red light, and the 3 bodies lying on the ground had disappeared in the red light. King Wang Dahu and others saw frenzy in their eyes. Such a move, they saw it once last night, knowing that these brothers who had died in battle have been merged into another mysterious place. As the protagonist said, as long as he died in battle, even if he was physically dead, the hero would live under the blessing of the protagonist. The wounded were immediately returned to the village and the 2 doctors bandaged and applied medicine. Wu Yishanxing didn't hesitate anymore, turned and strode towards the location of the golden rat king and the groundworm. His eyes flashed with cold eyes. The golden rat king was dying, and his body was exposed with bones, which was shocking. Depending on the situation, there is absolutely no way to live. Death is its destiny. Your luck is bad. You even encountered a digging worm and killed both. You are dying. If not, I will fight you. I may not have the certainty to win. Maybe I will die in your hands. Unfortunately, in this world, there is no if. So, you still die for me. Quote. Ji Yishanxing looked at Rat King's trembling body on the ground and sneered. The blood on my uncle's body was even more full of evil spirits. Wow, a black and white yin and yang lock has appeared, and it immediately fell towards the golden rat king, wrapping the torn body around it, and then the whole yin and yang lock was strangely submerged into the rat king's body, like an illusion, but a crisp iron could be heard chain collision sound. Immediately, the elusive iron chain once again turned into a substance, and it emerged from the rat king's body, and brought out a soul like a golden mouse. Just forcibly detained. Even if it was bound by the yin and yang locks, the soul of the golden rat king was still struggling, his teeth grinned, and he made strange noises. It's a pity that it couldn't have any influence at all, and was unceremoniously pulled into the eyes of yin and yang. According to the law, a yin and yang lock once again pulled out the soul of the ground digger and merged into the eyes of yin and yang together. It was directly suppressed and refined by the congenital yin-yang shen map. After a fight, now the number of yin and yang locks has increased again and has reached 9. It is not that there are not many rats this time and the plundering soul is not enough. Instead, it seems that after the yin and yang locks have reached 9, it has reached an extreme number. There is no way to increase the rest of the ingested souls, all of them are absorbed and refined by the innate yin and yang divine figure, and in the divine figure, it seems to be breeding something. It's just too bad. According to Yi Tianxing's estimation, this should be that the yin and yang eyes have reached a certain level, and it seems that life and consciousness will begin to transform to the next level. The forces needed for transformation are now being accumulated. I also need to hunt for more souls. Master, it seems that my Xuanwang village really has great luck. The digging worm that had a headache would fight the golden rat king, and it would hurt both, and the 2 hidden dangers would be solved without any effort. If not, the entire village will be in great crisis. Quote. Huang Chengyan also smiled and choked his beard and said with a trace of joy. My heart was secretly thinking, there are so coincident things. It seems that Xuanwang village has a great deal of luck, and the protagonist himself should also have a great deal of luck. As the saying goes, it's impossible to bring heaven and earth together. Change of reason. Quote. Shang Huang Chengyan has his own understanding of what has just happened. There are not so many coincidences in the world, and there must be some unexplainable reason in the coincidence. The recognition of Yi Tianxing in my heart was a little deeper. In this troubled world, you can follow the air transporter to survive and live better. Can build a real big business. If you have luck, you must have the same heart. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. Huang Lao, a wooden wall fence must be set up around the village. Although it may not be of much use to many monsters, it can play a certain alert function. Some ordinary beasts may not be able to rush. It will also give villagers a little more sense of security. Quote. The establishment of a wooden wall fence belonging to the village is obviously imminent. If you count today, there is really a curtain wall fence outside the village, and you can rely on this layer of defense to block most of the rat population and kill it. Maybe the 3 soldiers will not die in this battle. Well, oldness has been accounted for. There is a forest in the valley where trees can be felled. It is not a problem to build wooden walls and houses for villagers. However, judging from the current situation, there will always be beastly monsters. The impact on the village will not be smooth if the construction is completed. Quote. Huang Chengyan said in a deep voice. From the previous situation, we can see that the world today is facing life danger almost every moment. The monsters outside will not let them build their houses quietly, and do their offensives before they start offensive. In this process, many challenges must be faced. From nothing, it has never been possible to say anything with red lips and white teeth. In this troubled world, it is even more so, but it is to use flesh and blood to fight out a world and kill a party of pure land. This, I have long been prepared. Although you build the village, other things will naturally be left to me and the army behind me. Quote. Yi Yixing smiled and said naturally. The 300 soldiers behind him showed a firm color. Looking at the figure standing in front of them, they felt a strong pillar supporting their bodies. Let them feel an indestructible belief. In the village, the people are converging a large number of corpses of the murderous rats, peeling and peeling, www.novelhall.com, eviscerate, and making rat meat into jerky. They are already familiar with it, and some of the entrails they pulled out were thrown directly into the river, attracting piranhas to rob them. Feed mermaids today to eat meat, and fish up tomorrow to eat them. A large number of people started to go to the edge of the woods to cut down the trees. Each tree was cut down and pulled back into the village. It became various objects directly in the hands of the carpenter, and a wooden wall was built outside the village. No surprises. It is not safe in the valley. Almost every interval, there will be various kinds of fierce beasts and monsters. A large number of goblin did not know where to run out and killed in the valley. There were wolves coming out of the valley. A large number of condors appeared in the sky, attacking the village. Various kinds of beasts and monsters did not give Xuanwang village too much respite. Killing again and again, bleeding again and again. Under the impact of various fierce beasts, a famous soldier kept falling. Keep downsizing. In a blink of an eye, more than half a month passed. A wooden wall guarded the entire village. Although simple, it can stand on a wooden wall, 3 meters high. Circle the area 4 or 5 miles away. In addition to the necessary rest, the construction is underway every time. Someone fainted and fainted to the ground. But after waking up, he still hesitated to help, and continued to build wooden walls and build houses. Duan. During this time, the villagers in the entire village experienced an unprecedented transformation. The original expression of panic and anxiety was swept away, replaced by a color of refinement and perseverance, with a firm conviction in each eye. www.novelhall.com. Welcome book readers to visit, read the fastest, hottest serial works or at www.novelhall.com. Please read for mobile users. Chapter 63. Distant Bird. Many people unfortunately fell in the battle with fierce beasts, but when they died, none of them were crickets. They were standing with their spines, stubbing their necks, and their heads were raised high. Man. In the face of danger, no one flinched, no one ran away, even if there was fear in the heart, but no one counseled when facing the old and weak women and children behind him. Bu Duan continuous downsizing in the army. With more than 300 soldiers, in the repeated killings, there were only about 200 soldiers left. However, the results obtained in the battles of this time are also remarkable. The remaining 200 or so people, almost every one of them, introduced the iron blood Shiki practice, spurred the chi into the body, opened up the sea of God, and the power increased greatly. Various basic combat skills, sharpen combat skills in repeated killings, so that everyone's basic combat skills advance by leaps and bounds. This is the result of real exchange of blood and countless scars. Also, the more they fight, the stronger the evil spirits they accumulate on their bodies, the faster they practice. King Wang Dahu has opened up 2 meridians in half a month and officially promoted to Shanghai. Others have opened the first meridian to varying degrees. The vital energy in the body can be directly poured into the weapon, and it will be more severe when it is slaughtered, and it will be easier to kill the beast. The entire Xuanwang village exudes a strong, resolute and self-improving self after washing with blood. Even the old and weak women and children. Even in the face of someone dying, they didn't cry anymore, because they already knew that in this troubled world, crying would not help. There is no use at all, but it makes his own heart weaker. Even more vulnerable. This is the truth that Mingwu realized from time to time. The descendants of Xie Yan and Huang Yan have a kind of indomitable resilience. As long as there is a glimmer of hope and only a little light is ahead, they can stand up again and become stronger and stronger after falling down. Not only soldiers, but also most of the villagers in the village have practiced Pure Yuan Gong, successfully, officially started, opened Shanghai, not only greatly increased strength, but also some middle-aged women have smooth skin. It seems that even the appearance has become younger. The flesh and blood in the body has begun to regain vitality and become more powerful. Even a weak woman who had no chicken power in her hands, she can now carry a large section of wood and walk with ease, carrying a bucket of water. You can wrestle with the calf, and the amount of food increases greatly. Before that, all of them were female. However, there are still some people who can't become pure Yuan Gong, such as some elderly people, some young children. In the old age, the potential in the body has been exhausted. The original innate vitality in the body is completely exhausted. Even if you come to the eternal world and get the stimulation of the heaven and earth vitality, there is no way to completely recover. It is difficult to cultivate. It's almost impossible to make a breakthrough and follow the path of self-cultivation. Unless it is against the sky, cleanse your muscles and strengthen your potential. For young people, their minds are uncertain, and their bones are still growing. They are suitable for some forging practice. For the time being, they are not suitable for cultivation. Only when they are about 10 years old can they begin to practice. Avoid premature cultivation, affecting your own roots. That is not beautiful. In addition, Xuanwang village can be said to be practiced by the whole people. Even if it is very unlikely that you can achieve great achievements, it is much stronger than before. Keeping fit is the most basic. Even in normal times, the general illness will not fall on the body. It is also possible to prolong life. According to records, as long as you can open Shanghai and promote it, even the most ordinary those who can live for 120 years and have a long life can reach the limit of 150 years. At the level of life, it can be said that it has surpassed ordinary people. Moreover, because of rushing into this eternal world full of vitality, many people even awaken their lives after practice. There are even a few fatalities. Play a great role, but the rate of awakening is not as high as that of modern survivors. For example, if there is a villager, he awakens a strange life knack called growth. Very weird ability. The power of this life knowledge is not to grow yourself, but to have an extraordinary stimulating power to the plant elf. As long as a small grass is used once for life, it will grow crazy and reach a height of one person, and if it is willing, it can continue to grow crazy. With the help of this villager, all kinds of vines were planted around the wooden wall and wrapped around the wooden wall to make the wooden wall stronger, not worse than the city walls made of earth and stone, and the cyan vines and green grass cover wooden walls, and their resistance to flames has greatly increased. Generally, wooden walls cannot be ignited at all. More than double the defense of the wooden wall. Moreover, the roots of plants and trees are deeply rooted into the earth, so that the underground is also lush with roots, mixed with each other, and it is not easy to pass through the underground. In the village, houses are standing up one after another. Huang under Huang Lao's plan, with the mansion where Yi Tianqing is located as the center, it is divided into southeast and northwest. The west is gold, and the main killer is logging. Therefore, an army barracks is built. The barracks is located in the west, where daily exercises and rest breaks are practiced. All in the barracks. You can hear neat exercises and tough killing sounds every day. Townan is divided into bazaars, and the main road is built to directly lead to the archway in front of the village. The market is being built on both sides of the plan. In the future, various transactions should be in this position. Blacksmith shops, carpenter shops, medical halls, etc. are all in this area. To the east and north, there are residential areas. A large number of houses are built, and wooden houses are built, which are covered with thatched grass, which can shield the wind and rain. No worse than a tile house. Although a room is not that big, it makes many people feel a strong sense of stability. Feeling that I have a root, a home, and a goal to fight for. This feeling is very strong. This was completely killed, relying on a large number of soldiers, a large number of people's blood-cast homes. I set up my home in troubled times and never gave up my blood and sweat. This day, above the wooden wall, Yi Tianqing stood on the wooden wall, looking around, with a touch of emotion in his eyes, whispered to himself, I am Xuanwang village, this has really taken root in this world. In the end, it was not broken in the chaos. It was buried. Wilderness. There was more of a kind of killing and coercion on the body, which was killed again and again. There was too much blood in his hands. These days, Yi Tianqing has not been idle for a while. Almost every day, all kinds of troubles swept through, either to resist the impact of fierce beasts, or to face various fierce birds and monsters. Even the practice is carried out in a hurry. Even so, intermittently, the body's 12 seriousness has been opened up to 10. Hand Taiyin lung meridian, Hand Juyin pericardial meridian, Hand Shaoyin hard meridian, Hand Yangming large intestine meridian, Hand Shaoyang sanjiao meridian, Hand Sun small intestine meridian. Foot Taiyin spleen meridian, Foot Juyin liver meridian, Foot Yangming stomach meridian, Foot Shaoyang bile meridian. 10 meridians have been broken through, and meridians in the body run through the hands and feet, washing impurities and drawing the vitality of the world. There is only one meridian, the foot meridian kidney meridian, and the 2 meridians of the foot sun bladder meridian have not completely penetrated. After opening the 10 meridians, the rate of accumulation of true energy in the body is getting faster and faster, and the amount of true dragon energy contained in the Shanghai of the body is also increasing. Compared to the past, I really don't know how many times. It is definitely not difficult to completely open the last 2 meridians. Even with today's huge vitality, as long as you are willing, you can directly break open. Thoroughly practice the second most important task of Shanghai. This progress was achieved without focusing on cultivation and continually fighting against foreign enemies. It is conceivable, it is definitely beyond imagination. Among them, there are many powerful practitioners, their superhuman talents, and blessings from Xuanwang village. All make Yi Tianqing practice much faster than normal. Yes, Lord, we are now in this troubled world, with a little insignificant foundation. However, if we want to grow, we are far from enough. Huang Chengyan also came up and said meaningfully. Huang Lao means population issues. Yi Tianxing knew. Yes, for more than half a month of slaughter, Yu reading has killed many people in the village and soldiers. They have been downsized, but they cannot be replenished. It is like water without roots, which is difficult to sustain. Sooner or later it will be ruined. Huang Chengyan said solemnly. Look at his face, it is much redder and tenderer than before, and even the white hair on his head has become black again. Jing Qishan has a kind of earth-shaking metamorphosis, and his eyes are so clear that the person who has a loss in his heart can never look directly into his eyes. Obviously, he has cultivated successfully, and from the light of the eyes, it is not simple. As a person, he could not even see the depth of Yi Tianxing. It can be predicted that it has definitely exceeded its realm. His accumulation is too strong. Accumulation is the king. Moreover, when he introduced talents and enlightened him, he even awakened Confucianism and Taoism. His strength is already above Yi Tianxing. Can be said to be skyrocketing. However, Yi Tianxing always respects and has no transgression. These days, if Huang Lao did not coordinate in the village, it would be impossible to build it so fast, and he was well organized. I have also thought about this issue, but in this world, in the troubled times, although there must be a large number of people living, or even struggling to survive, and die, the world is beyond our reach. Don't look at our standing, the foundation is laid, but if you leave the valley, you can't leave Sanli, and the whole army will be wiped out. Yi Tianxing shook his head and smiled bitterly. Travel around. At this moment, in the distance, suddenly a strange noise came. Birds. What a big bird! Someone exclaimed on the wooden wall. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 64, Travel Business. Qi Yi Tianxing and Huang Chengyan are also eye pupils. It really is a big bird. His expression was extremely solemn. Alert! King Wang Dahu sounded the alarm. A large number of soldiers quickly got up to the wooden wall. Someone took out the bow and arrow and stared into the distance with eyes full of evil spirits. They were ready to shoot arrows at any time. Even if there was fear in their hearts, they still stood on the wooden wall stably and stood in front of the village. Bird. A big bird. This big bird is a real big bird. That size is really to be counted. With wings spread, it is 3 or 4 miles wide, and its back is very wide. So it flies over like a blue cloud. That cry is from this big bird. The scream is weird, just like the pronunciation of the word, you, pronounced by ordinary people. It sounds like, you. The blue feathers exude a pure and natural atmosphere. After seeing it, people can't help but develop a closeness. Even one's own alert will be involuntarily relaxed. It's hard to be hostile. The most peculiar thing is the big bird's head, which looks like a baby face, although there are fluff everywhere, but if you look closely, it's really not much different from a child, very similar. It seemed to me that this big bird wandered around like an airborne wanderer. What kind of bird is this? I have never seen such a strange bird before. It is so huge, and it looks like the face of a young child, and it makes people feel compassion. This bird is really too big. Where did it come from? Didn't you encounter other venomous birds along the way? The air is extremely dangerous. If you don't believe it, you will encounter a violent aviary. Look at it before. They've seen a lot of fierce birds fight on their own, and the territories of these animals and beasts are very strong. It makes no sense to shuttle through without any danger. It's weird. Quote. Kuei, look, there is a big house on that big bird's back. This bird is flying with a house on its back. What's going on? There are also some villagers standing on the wooden wall. After they can practice one by one, their eyes are greatly increased. When they see the big bird, they are surprised. Full of shock. Although the beasts, birds, monsters, and strange creatures I have seen these days have completely subverted their outlook on life, world, and various perspectives, such a large bird still carries a house on its back. See at once. Flying birds, a very special race between heaven and earth. Since its birth, it has been traveling far and wide, and enjoying the different scenery and different things in different places. Traveling between heaven and earth, its body contains unique talents and supernatural powers. Most of the living races feel close and will not be hostile. Unless in some forbidden areas, distant birds can be unimpeded. It is a messenger of peace. It brings the gospel from a distance. Based on distant birds, it generates a unique profession, traveling merchants. With the help of far-off birds, you can travel all over the country to communicate in all directions. Quote, Qi Tianxing took out the wordless Tianshu, and in the Tianshu, there was also a recorded message about the distant birds. Why this kind of strange bird is so called a distant bird, not to bring about destruction, but to the magical existence that likes to travel around the quartet but has the ability to walk the world. It cannot be attacked by all kinds of monsters and fierce birds. Can walk freely through the void. This is absolutely amazing in the eternal continent, and the benefits it brings are even more amazing. Legend has it that a business traveler is a group of people who knows how to be good. No one knows. In short, no one has ever thought of business travelers. In addition, business travelers bring all kinds of strange objects, treasures, and various treasures are also collected. It is also a very good behavior method for Tianan's goods to appear in Tianbei. Badgers often bring good opportunities. Brush. The distant bird seemed to see Xuanwang village in the sky. After a while, it began to descend. It fell on the open space in front of the village. The huge body, like a behemoth, let people see, and it was impossible to give birth to an unspeakable shock and pressure. Especially, on the back of this distant bird, there really is a huge house. The house was comparable to the big mansion in the house of the old nobleman. It can be seen that this house is definitely not ordinary. But if you look closely, it is a loft at all, it is a 3-story pavilion, but the momentum is not bad. It looks like it is definitely not unusual. Yi Tianxing couldn't tell what the materials were for the attic. Yuziyu Qufang, hometown everywhere. Fathers and gentlemen in the townships, the distant travelers take the liberty to come and bother, but please bear with me and bear with me. In the attic, only the door was seen to open quickly. A man wearing a blue robe, but with a thin bamboo pole, but a face with a full moon like a full moon, laughed and was very happy. This combination, no matter how you look at it, makes people laugh. This contrast is really too big. Just like a big mushroom on a bamboo pole, people will never forget it after seeing it at first glance. I have to remember him all my life. He laughed and couldn't even see his eyes. This Taoist joked, although my Xuanwang village is a little bit smaller, but when the VIPs come, there will naturally be good wine and good meat. There is nothing to worry about. Yi Tianxing heard it and said with a smile. What kind of friend? I am just a businessman, a tourist, my name is Jia Chengxin. If you want, just call me Old Jia. The man laughed even brighter when he heard it. False integrity. When Yi Yixing heard that, he couldn't help looking at Huang Chengyan, and he saw a trace of mistakes in the other's eyes. Immediately heard from his words, he came here, apparently not really set foot, asking for water to drink so simple. He is a businessman. Is this what he wants to do with Xuanwang-kun? Most frankly, this is to do business with Xuanwang village here. Businessmen, all they do is buy and sell. I don't know what treasure Mr. Jia brought this time, can I go up and watch it 1 or 2? Yi Tianxing said with a smile. It is definitely not easy to travel far and do business on the eternal continent, and there are a lot of goods to carry. There are all kinds of weird things. Would a businessman open the door to do business? Would he refuse to come to your door? Welcome, welcome, naturally welcome. Jia Chengxin heard it and said with a smile. Well, then Yi Mao will look at the treasure brought by Mr. Jia. Yi Tianxing also said with a smile. He winked at Huang Chengyan, went out of the village together, and came to the distant bird. The distant bird is curiously looking at the village in front of it. Those eyes are as pure and innocent as children, making people's hearts seem to be washed. Its wings are the stairs to go up. I walked along the wings, Yi Tianxing and Huang Chengyan went on a distant bird and came to the attic. Emerging from the attic Yuanyu pavilion, 3 fonts. Come here, please come inside. This time Jia also traveled from many places. This world has changed a lot. Today's world is an eternal continent. It is truly endless and full of novelties. These days, there are not many places to go, but I have also collected some good things. I have traded with many people. I have also seen many humans struggling to survive in difficult and dangerous situations everywhere. They can survive in this troubled world. Not easy. Quote. Shang Jia Chengxin greeted with a smile and led people into the attic. I don't know how Boss Jia looks at my broken village. Yi Tianxing heard and suddenly asked. Hee, Mr. Yi's village is nothing like a broken village. Today, what Jia sees is comparable to yours, but it is only 5 fingers away. Mr. Yi's future is immense, and luck is hay. When Jia Chengxin heard it, he smiled meaningfully and said indifferently. This sentence made Huang Chengyan's eyes flash a secret, but did not speak. Boss Jia has heard that these days, everyone is living in the deep waters. They have not slept well all day. They fight all those beasts and monsters all day. They are gathered together from the north and the south. To be honest, we connect this valley. No one can go out. As soon as I go out, I am afraid that if I can't get out of Sanli, the whole army will be wiped out. I don't know what monster died in the hands. What's going on outside, but I don't know at all. Quote, humans, and, hope. Yi Yixing took a deep breath and asked. I don't expect Jia Chengxin to answer, but I can't be wrong if I ask the last sentence. Hey, www.novelhall.com, this time, the integration of all realms has become an eternal continent. This eternal world is endless. No one knows how vast and how wide the range is. And, don't look at the vast land under our feet. Boundless, in fact, it's just an island in the boundless sea. Quote. Jia Chengxin said with a smile. Also, in this valley, Mr. Yi village still has neighbors. Your neighbors don't seem to be doing well. After Jia Chengxin said this sentence, he didn't say more about it. He smiled and took them into this Yuanyu pavilion. I entered the first floor and immediately saw that it was bigger than what I saw outside. Visiting the shelves one by one, there are all kinds of treasures in it, and they are so beautiful that people can't wait to see them all in their arms. Although there are not many goods here, but the types should be quite complete. No matter what type of items you want, you can find one or two for you. Of course, I don't have too expensive, these are these days. During the tour, I kept trading with guests everywhere. Quote. Indeed, even if he had a lot of goods before, but the eternal world was really formed in less than a month, even if he was a tourist, he could not get too many treasures, and he could put the shelves in front of him. Already considered a means to heaven. The eyesight is definitely not bad. Elixir, potion, elixir, even spirit fruit, bizarre treasures, all kinds of natural treasures, even cotton jackets, axes for firewood, logging tools, soldiers' swords, armors, etc., all kinds, strange, there are precious and ordinary. It's confusing to watch. www.novelhall.com, welcome the book readers to read, the latest, fastest, hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com, mobile users, please read. Chapter 65, Universal Printer. For recommended collections, there are 2 tickets with tickets. Close black lens bracket. The goods are very complicated, but they are quite large. All kinds of objects, even for human beings in troubled times, even play a pivotal role and can bring great benefits to survival. For example, as long as a large number of weapons are available, they can definitely have a huge benefit for survival. In the slaughter, more people can survive. It is helpful to the strength of the entire village. There are also some necessary tools. This is an important thing for the better development of the village. You must know that although Xuanwang village has blacksmith shops and blacksmiths, there is no iron ore, no pig iron, and there is no way. Create corresponding weapons, various necessary tools and more. These things fell into Huang Chengyan's eyes and nodded secretly. If you want to buy these things, naturally they are in the list of products you must buy. There are still exercises. Yi Yixing came to a shelf and immediately found out that there are still a lot of exercises in this area. Presented in the way of jade book. There are really a lot of them. Let people see, it gives birth to a sense of shock. The broken jade spear method is the best combat technique of Zonti. The spear method is dusty and hard. It is better to be jade than to be full. The momentum is amazing. Quote. Yongwu sword technique, the best combat skills of Huang Jia, whose true meaning is to cultivate my righteousness, and the Confucian swordsmanship is performed with Haoran's righteousness. The greater the power of law. Quote. Dian Jin, the destiny to open up the secret method, repair can be a stone to gold, a point to gold, reversing the universe. 7 stars mantis boxing. The top-ranking combat skill of the yellow ranks, is known for its speed, and its shots are like lightning, as the 7 stars are intertwined and unpredictable. Quote. Strong bull magic fist, Wangji's best combat skills, hardened body boxing, training temperable bones, strong blood. Strong body. Quote. Song of Quanjun Avenue, a method of multiplying exercises in the realm of Shanhai. There is a magic map of the 9 tricks of Quanjun, which contemplates Juqiao, pulling the vitality of the body and breaking through the sea of Shen. Really innocent, extremely pure, long pulse, you can transfer to other exercises at will. Quote, a door of Gongfa is presented in front of the eyes, even if it is Yi Tianxing, there is a urge to take all of these skills into your arms and take them as your own. These are now in Xuanwang village the most in-demand skills and techniques. If it can be obtained, it will be crucial for the overall strength of Xuanwang village. Can greatly enrich the collection of books in the Tibetan scripture pavilion. Moreover, that quenching body boxing is extremely good. Yi Tianxing knows Guoshu, Taijiquan, Bajiquan, Xingyiquan, Baguazhong, etc., he all knows, but he majors in Taijiquan. Superb Guoshu Shu is also one of the reasons why he was able to get started quickly and made rapid progress. After Yi Tianxing entered the Tibetan scripture hall, these Chinese traditional boxing techniques were directly extracted from his mind with the capabilities of the Tibetan scripture hall, and similarly turned into a book of jade. Body quenching, but this kind of body hardening method will definitely not dislike too much. For Meng Tong, this is the best way to lay the foundation. Being able to temper bones and bones can even enhance qualifications to a certain extent. What is this? Huang Chengyan also saw an item and asked curiously. It was a strange white box with sci-fi colors all over the body. Flashing with a dreamy metallic luster, it looks like a peculiar hole, no gap can be found, it is natural. But it was placed in the counter and covered with glass. This is the treasure that Jia bought from a village. It's called a universal printer. It's also called a universal printer. It was a baby that fell from the sky when the eternal world was just formed. However, the noble guest could not use it, so he started from I changed something here, used this all-purpose printer as a mortgage, and traded things for money. Jia Chengxin said with a smile. I also point out the preciousness of this all-around printer. Definitely not a waiting treasure. This is a real treasure that has been born out of fantasy. How much effect it is, even he is not very clear. After all, this is still a high-tech treasure, which was conceived in fantasy and has become more amazing. All-around printer, Yi Tianxing heard and came over, looking at the white box like science fiction, thoughtfully. The formation of the eternal continent, the fusion of all realms, and the collision of countless fantasy forces, the changes produced are not understandable by anyone. When the fusion of all realms, the power of fantasy collided, giving birth to various exotic treasures, regardless of the number and its effect are even more bizarre. Of course, even if these strange treasures are bred, their rules are still changed according to the laws of the eternal continent. Obviously, this printer is not a simple creation. There must be something unique about it. I don't know how many such treasures there are in Boss Jia. Yi Yixing asked with a smile. Not many. These strange treasures are scattered all over the place. No one knows where they are hiding. The time is too short. Jia has only collected 3. This all-around printer is one of them. There is one called Moonwell and one the piece is called 1,000 Machine Box. Quote. Jia Chengxin introduced with a smile. In the counter, I really have these few treasures. The moon well is really an ancient well, but it seems that the reflection of the moon can appear in the ancient well. Lifelike, this is the moon in the water. It only looks extremely dim, but it can emit a silvery moonlight, and you can tell at a glance. This is a strange treasure. There is also an ancient box that is incomparably quaint and filled with countless mysterious patterns. From the appearance, there is no obvious mystery in this box, but none of them can be called simple treasure. There must be something unusual about it. Sure enough, all good things. Boss Jia is really a good means. I can gather so many treasures in a short period of time. It really makes people envious. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said with a smile. Oh, Jia is a businessman at best, and it really is nothing. Only if the village leader Yi can open up a land of happiness in the troubled times and bless the people, there is a great fortune. Once the wind rises, then it's really amazing. Quote. Jia Chengxin responded with a smile. The two sides talked a few more words, but unfortunately, although Jia Chengxin talked like a spring breeze and smiled, but what he didn't want to say was that he couldn't put a word out of his mouth. It can be seen that this is a smart master. I don't know how Boss Jia's treasures will be traded. Huang Chengyan suddenly asked. This is not a small problem. In the world today, there is no real currency. The original gold and silver, if you can buy these rare treasures, it is just a joke, a glorious world. The role of gold and silver is not as important as a meal, eating and drinking. So what kind of transaction is used is a big question. Now in Xuanwang village, I can't get anything valuable. As for the skills and techniques of warfare, it is absolutely immovable in the Tibetan scripture pavilion. Yes, Boss Jia has too many treasures here, and I may not be able to pay the corresponding price. Yi Tianxing heard and nodded. What Xuan really wanted to exchange, to be honest, the treasure on Jia Chengxin's body was not comparable to the strange treasure on him. With thousands of pieces, he made a fortune, but many things are not available now. Are useless to itself, but it will be useful in the future. Such a baby, really want to say, he didn't want to sell one. However, there are some treasures that make him extremely jealous, and have a huge effect on the current Xuanwang village. Like the universal printer, Moonwell, he wanted to get it. This is a treasure that can play a key role in the village. It depends on what is in the hands of Mr. Yi village. Now in the troubled times, civilization does not exist, order has collapsed, ordinary gold and silver, naturally cannot. Now, most of the transactions are made by barter. No matter what, it can be valued, even if it is the body of a ferocious beast, it can also be valued in exchange for supplies. It would be better if there were treasures obtained from the feral beast. Quote. Jia Chengxin said with a smile. Obviously, gold and silver will not be collected. It is simply that gold and silver cannot measure prices in this era. There is no way to circulate it as money. www.novelhall.com. In this era, this world is destined to undergo fundamental changes from the previous ordinary world. Treasure, savage beast. Yi Tianxing thought deeply and groaned secretly in his heart. It seems that the treasures obtained from the fierce beasts are all treasures. Even the corpses of the fierce beasts are of great value. These days they eat the flesh and blood of the fierce beasts. Drinking piranha fish soup, the essence of energy contained in the village has allowed the people in the village to grow, and most of them can move into the ranks of practitioners. It can be seen that flesh and blood is a good thing. Those treasures are also good. In the future, if there is a refiner, it can be refined into a piece of magic weapon. Moreover, Yi Tianxing also knows that it is now taken out and evaluated here. It must be the lowest price. What kind of price has not been determined by this Jia Chengxin? Whether it is high or low, it is not clear to me in the end. She groaned slightly, Yi Tianxing's light flashed, and she took out a snow-white orb. Wish Lizu, you have Lizu, Jia Chengxin saw, but his eyes were bright, and his face was full of surprise. However, this joy was immediately suppressed by him, and the joy that appeared on his face was fleeting. If Yi Tianxing was always watching the change in his face, I was afraid that it would be an illusion. With only this one in mind, there is already a bottom in the value of Lizu. Suddenly his heart became calm. Xu Shuibai's wish beads continued to play at her fingertips. I would like to have Lizu, but I only have a very small number in my hand, not much. Yi Tianxing said with a smile, trading with businessmen, but if you are not careful, you will lose a lot. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all at www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please go to read. Chapter 66. Shopping. For recommended collection, new books need nutrients. I wish Lizu's preciousness, but Yi Tianxing knows it clearly. This is the top treasure, and it will not be inferior to most of the previous treasures. You must know that only White Wish Lizu can be used during cultivation and can be directly used. Increase your own cultivation speed 10 times. At the critical moment, it can break the bottleneck, break the treasures and increase cultivation. Generally, it is a panacea. Anyone is precious. I must know that Yi Tianxing only gained a large number of people when the cataclysm began. But that's the evolution of heaven and earth. Before the fusion of the realms of heaven, the gift of heaven to the survivors of the old times, beheaded monsters, you can get the wish beads, because those monsters were born out of fantasy, and descended directly into heaven and earth at that time. Tiandao had not completed its final transformation. In a strange state. Only then can the monster beheaded and killed, so that the monster's flesh and blood can be turned back into wish beads. This opportunity, only once. Although there are a lot of things that can be caught, they can be swept up by successive disasters. Even if there are survivors who have hunted and killed monsters, they may not be able to get much hope. Zhang, not to mention today, the eternal continent has completely evolved and the heavens have been transformed. The laws of heaven and earth have been completely transformed, and fantasy is brought into reality. Even if you kill monsters, there is no way to obtain the beads of willpower. All monsters are all real. Therefore, the way to get the hope of Lizu is completely blocked, and it is impossible to have any thoughts. Now I hope that the source of Lizu, no one knows how to get it. In short, use one and one less. Yi Tianxing has never used wish beads when practicing. Put them all in the Lingju space, wait for the time needed, and then take them out. At the critical moment, there is no less than a panacea. 10 times the speed of cultivation. Now Yi Tianxing knows the importance of it. I want to know that now that Xuanwang village has gained luck, it is only a 3-fold increase in practice. The gap inside is several times. Holding a wishing bead, in Yi Tianxing's hands, it may be exhausted after only one practice, but for other monks, it will not be a problem for 10 days and a half months. I can imagine that Lizu is absolutely precious. Especially when there is no source now, it is even more so. He was reluctant to take out other exotic treasures, and only took out a considerable amount of wish beads in his hands. Obviously, this Jia Chengxin attaches great importance to Li Zhu, even if the expression on his face is extremely bland, but he and Huang Chengyan cannot hide his eyes. Jia Chengxin really wants this wish Li Zhu. The two of them looked at each other, and nodded, knowing that they could use this wishing force to get a considerable amount of resources in Jia Chengxin. Mr. Yi Village, I don't know which treasure you are looking for and see if you can exchange it. Jia Chengxin said with a smile. Mr. Jia's skills and combat skills. Yimao looked stunned. I don't know if it can be exchanged. Yi Tianxing said. A wishing force pearl can be exchanged for a book of yellow-ranked inferior combat skills, or the basic method of building Shanghai realm. Jia Chengxin said quickly. It seems that Mr. Jia's things are too expensive. Yimao can't afford them. I wish that Lizu would better keep one for his own cultivation. One can speed up the cultivation speed by 10 times, which is comparable to a panacea. There is nothing hidden danger. Enhancing your own strength is the most important thing. Quote. Yi Tianxing heard and smiled and put away Lizu. Jia Chengxin saw a subconscious contraction in his eyes and immediately recovered his nature. He smiled and said, where Yi Chong said, it is not expensive, it is not expensive. I just remembered it wrong, and I can exchange any one of the yellow grades. Gongfa combat skills. One of the lower grades counts 3 books. The middle grade counts 2 books. This time, the price dropped directly. Well, Boss Jia's skills and combat skills here, I need a copy of each. Yi Tianxing also said with a smile, knowing that this price should be considered fair, and no one should be disadvantaged. Moreover, Yi Tianxing doesn't believe that this Jia Chengxin will give him the original of these exercises. He must have other things in his hands, turn his back, go to another place, and immediately resell it again. Maximize your benefits, but don't expect much of their morals. Fuck this thing, on the businessman, long ago threw it back to his mother's belly. Okay, wrap it up with Mr. Yi Kun in a moment. Jia Chengxin heard, his eyes narrowed. How much is this universal printer and moonwell to settle with willing beads? Yi Tianxing again pointed at the 2 strange treasures and asked. This is a different treasure. Although Jia can't know how effective and powerful these strange treasures are, their preciousness is beyond doubt. Each piece requires at least 200 wish beads. Jia Chengxin said with a smile. Looking at Yi Tianxing, he secretly said, this surnamed Yi is really a great customer, and he can take out a treasure such as Lizu, and it is still so pure and free of impurities. Such a piece requires piety. Only 1 year of incense will be condensed. Such wishing beads can be used not only for cultivation, but even for magic. I thought secretly in my heart. To be honest, after he got this universal printer, he didn't completely figure out what kind of treasure it is. It doesn't seem to be the product of spiritual civilization, but he knows that well water can heal injuries and restore his fatigue. Waiting for all kinds of magical effects can definitely be called a treasure. In this regard, it is the price of 200 willing beads. It's too high, I can't take that much in my hand. Yi Tianxing shook his head and said, 180 pieces, this is the lowest price, and it can't really be lowered anymore. Jia Chengxin's brow frowned into a Sichuan word. He said with a tangled expression on his face, with a cut-like expression on his face. Make people sympathetic. We can agree to this price, but we must add a batch of weapons, a batch of daily tools. And the seeds of the spiritual grass and medicine as a lead. What does Boss Jia think? Huang Chengyan was given one by Yi Tianxing. Immediately after winking, he thought and proposed. Then you come to my confrontation. After a short while, all the transactions were finally negotiated. In the end, Yi Tianxing paid more than 400 wish beads. The result was 2 different treasures, a large number of exercises and combat skills, as well as a large number of daily tools, ordinary swords and weapons, a batch of pig iron, and some seeds of magic herbs. It can be said that the goods in Jia Chengxin's hands were emptied for less than half. After talking and laughing out of Yuanyu Pavilion, standing at the door, Jia Chengxin laughed and said, 1 life, 2 lucks, 3 feng shui, 4 accumulations, yin and morals, 5 readings. The way of luck is wonderful, Yi Chong Mayor, I hope there will be opportunity to trade again. This transaction allows Jia to sell more than half of the goods at once, and give away a message for free. There is an army near here. Quote. The words of the crickets fell, and they smiled mysteriously without saying a word. Nodded and turned back to Yuanyu Pavilion. Qi Yi Tianxing and Huang Chengyan heard that they were shocked at the same time, looked at each other, and they saw shock and surprise in the eyes of each other. His Majesty's distant birds were surrounded, and the distant birds were surrounded, and the villagers who were curious watching began to spread. With the wings fluttering, the huge body began to lift off again, appeared in the sky, and flew into the distance in a blink of an eye. Xuanwang Village, in the mansion where Yi Tianxing lives. Master, the wish Lizu in your hands must be a very precious treasure. This transaction, I'm afraid we still have a bit of a loss. Huang Chengyan said with a beard. Businessmen are not profitable, it is impossible to trade at a loss. I hope Lizu will still have uses that I do and know, but whether it is a loss or an advantage, only I know. For me, this transaction, I have an advantage. I got 2 different treasures, as well as a large number of the most important weapons, various tools, and a large number of pig iron. A variety of commonly used items. These are the most important for us to enable the villagers of Xuanwang Village to live. Better soldiers can make soldiers more powerful. This is the development of Xuanwang Village. Quote. Yi Yixing said with a smile. He doesn't think that this transaction is a loss for himself. Everything is relative. There is no profit. The merchant will not come. There is no use. He will not buy or sell. It is voluntary between the 2 parties. No loss or take advantage. I really want to suffer, that's because my eyesight is not enough. Yu reading books www. Yuakanshu.com. No need to complain. What the protagonist said makes sense. Shang Huang Chengyan heard and nodded with a smile. He didn't care much about it, and his voice changed. I don't know how the protagonist sees the news brought by this tourist. This is good news. The valley we are in is really large. We really have to count it. We are not afraid to accommodate millions of people. Our location is just near the valley mouth. We have not penetrated the valley at all. There are other villages. Existence is definitely not a surprise, but where the other party is a problem. Yi Tianxing's eyes flashed a strange light. According to Jia Chengxin, the neighbors in his valley are not in a good position today, which can be seen from the various dangers he has encountered. Other people, other villages can never be better. It's just a different situation. Master, you should want to bring the villagers and people of that good neighbor back to our Xuanwang village. Huang Chengyan smiled and looked at Yi Tianxing with a smile. Since our good neighbors can't protect the people in the village below them, then give them to me to protect them. This is good for those people and for our Xuanwang village. Now my Xuanwang village has put all kinds of infrastructure completely built, with wooden wall defense, soldiers are dead, and what is lacking is the population. Only when the population continues to grow, can it grow and grow rapidly. People is fundamental. Quote. Qi Yishan said decisively that he did not the shame and concealment of other people's villagers. Since the other party can no longer protect the villagers and the people, it is better to merge them into Xuanwang village rather than let the people die in the hands of the beast monsters. Yu reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 67, Moonwell. In this troubled world, it is the kingship to plunder and grow up. What kind of righteousness, in the premise of strengthening themselves, all are shit. Moreover, the other party is no longer able to protect its own villagers, which makes Yi Tianxing have no psychological burden on the behavior of capturing the other villagers. This is a hurdle that must be overcome. There is no population, no people, how to develop, how to grow the village. Only by becoming stronger can I live in this wild age. Others are shit. With this in mind, Yi Tianxing is naturally very clear, and there is nothing to be reluctant to do. He secretly said, watching the villagers buried under the minions of monsters and beasts without dead bodies is the cruelest thing. Impatience is cruel. The way of development is never glorious. In this regard, Huang Chengyan did not discourage. If it had been before, he would definitely stop it. However, in this new world, the original worldview has been completely subverted, and he can continue to grow by growing himself. The stronger Xuanwang village, the greater the chance of survival, and the population is among them. Key. No population, how to grow, how to develop, pill plunder, or even mergers, is the only way ahead. Just like in the ocean, big fish eat small fish to survive. However, where are the neighbors around us? I'm afraid we need to look into it. Although most of the valley is grassland plains, there are also mountain forests and streams. Today's mountain forests are extremely dense. It is difficult to see other villages for the obstruction of sight. If there is no way to determine the location of the other party, they rushed forward, maybe it would be futile. Quote. Huang Chengyan groaned slightly. They are located near the mouth of the valley, and the hinterland in the valley has not set foot in the past, but this valley, speaking of it, is almost not much different from a plain. It is very large and there are various trees blocking the view. The terrain is not completely flat, it's not so easy to find other villages. If you send soldiers, maybe all soldiers will be buried on the way to the investigation. Since they are in the same valley, even if there is a distance, it should not be too far. I was busy living and fighting with beasts and monsters. I didn't pay much attention. However, if you think about it, you should find a way their position. Yi Tianxing said thoughtfully. Shang Huang Chengyan thought for a moment, and then his eyes brightened, saying, Master, I have a way, maybe I can determine their position. Huang Lao, please, Yi Tianxing said expectantly. Since it is a village, it is necessary to make a fire for cooking, and if the village defense has not been established, at night, in order to expel some beasts, the fire will be ignited. One is for heating and the other is for the beasts. In a more open location. As long as you pay attention at night, you should be able to see the fire and smoke. As long as you determine the approximate direction, you can naturally find their position. Quote. Shang Huang Chengyan quickly expressed his thoughts. This is a good way. Wait for the night to see if it works. Yi Tianxing heard, pondered, and nodded secretly. This is already the best way to come up now. After all, there are no radar satellites and the like. Each village is an independent gathering place, and it is impossible to get in touch. It is extremely difficult to find. Okay, Huang Lao, let's go to the square and merge the moon well we got into the square. With this moon well, not only can the moon shine in the square at night, but the well water in this moon well can relieving the pain and treating the injuries have great benefits for the villagers in the village. Even if the soldiers are injured in the future, they can heal faster and recover. Quote. Yi Yixing said with a smile. Such strange treasures, of course, must be seen with your own eyes. Huang Chengyan nodded and agreed. In addition to the mansion is the center, and there are intentionally empty squares nearby. I came to a clearing. With a flash of light in his hand, the quaint moon well appeared in his hand, only extremely small and exquisite. Just throw it away. Suddenly, it became large in the air, and became 3 meters in size. When it fell down, it landed on the ground and was naturally connected to the ground. I said it was a well, it might as well be a pool. The outside of the cricket is surrounded by a kind of strange white stone, which is seamless as if formed naturally. There was a layer of transparent white well water in the well, and a faint round moon appeared in the water. Amidst a faint moonlight, naturally, the surrounding heaven and earth vitality gathered towards the well, condensing on the small crescent. Let this round of crescent moon naturally emit a slight moonlight, and the well water in the well will naturally slowly increase, condensed from that crescent moon. Did the white halo emanating from the entire moon well, like Yuehua, falls on the body, and the original fatigue will be swept away naturally. It's really amazing. Wonderful moon well, it is indeed a strange treasure. Moonlight can refresh people's spirits, wash their bodies and minds, and calm their minds. Even if they are still irritable, as long as you sit here for a while, you can wash the dryness in your heart. It's a treasure, a strange thing. Huang Chengyan's face was drunk, and he sighed deeply. This is only the moon well in its initial state. It is still a strange treasure of the first rank of Wangji. As long as the rank is promoted, its efficacy is stronger. At night, this well can directly draw the moon and the moon, condense the well water. The speed is faster, well water can treat injuries, and now only the simplest wounds can be treated, the pain, but in the future, it will definitely be more amazing. It will even prolong life. Quote. At the moment when Yi Tianxing merged into the village at Moonwell, he also understood the difference. Once promoted to the extreme, its efficacy is enough to be amazing. The effect on the current Xuanwang village is too great. The healing effect can give many people who have been seriously injured the chance to survive. You know, in Xuanwang village, all kinds of herbs are extremely scarce, and even many medicinal materials are not available. There is a pain and there is no way to treat it. Although the two doctors, Chu Chu and Wang, had good medical skills, they had no medicinal materials and it was difficult to display their abilities. Only use acupuncture. Now that there is Moonwell, the worries on it can be temporarily relieved. Can make villagers feel safer. The recognition of Xuanwang village is even stronger. What is this? It seems that it was made by the village chief. It is a miracle and a strange treasure. There is a small crescent in this well. The moonlight falls on my body, so comfortable. The pain in my body seems to be less painful. It's amazing. The strange thing that the village chief brought out is really extraordinary. It's so beautiful. This well is so beautiful. It has never been seen before. It is so beautiful. When a famous villager saw new strange buildings appearing in the square, they surrounded them and felt the strange comfort of the moon shining from the well, exposing curiosity and joy. Dear folks, this well is called the Moon Well. The well water in the well can heal injuries, heal wounds, and moonlight can drive away fatigue. After everyone is injured in the slaughter, you can come to take the well water and recover the wound. But there is not much well water, it is not easy to conceive, and it cannot be wasted. Quote. Qi Yishanxing said to the villagers around with a smile. Yuliang, the moon well was built to bring benefits to the villagers. Great, thank you village chief. Many villagers heard that their faces were full of joy. It's great, my Xuanwang village finally has a treasure that can heal the wounds. I won't just watch the soldiers bruise and kill, and finally I will endure the pain of trauma on my body, but there is no medical treatment. The old man saw that his heart was like a knife. Dr. Chu saw that his excited body was shaking. These days, when I see someone injured, I can't take out my medicine. As a doctor, I can't do anything about it. The feeling is like a heart-running torment. Yeah, this is all right, there is a moon well here, and our soldiers in Xuanwang village will have more people on the battlefield. This is a real baby. Dr. Wang was also excited with both hands. They were trembling, and they looked happy. Ji Yishanxing didn't stay long, turned around and went into the Tibetan scripture hall. After I entered it, www.novelhall.com, wave hands, dozens of exercises and techniques appeared directly in front of me. In a white light, these exercises are organized and distinguished at the first time. They belong to the level of the Shanghai realm, appear on the first floor, and others with higher grades enter higher floors. On some vacant white jade bookshelves, there is an extra book of combat skills. Let the collection of books in the Tibetan pavilion be enriched at a glance. Various combat techniques, more types of changes, people have more choices. Xuan also made Xuanwang village's own heritage a little stronger. Sooner or later, this Tibetan scripture pavilion alone will attract a large number of talents to Xuanwang village. Inherit me the broken jade spear. After doing this, Yi Tianxing also said decisively. The utterances of the words fell, and on a white jade shelf, an inheritance light instantly penetrated into Yi Tianxing's mind, and turned into a white jade book in his mind. The above is awesome. This is the best combat technique of Xuanji. Monk has a way. One can martial arts combat skills and understand the true meaning of martial arts. Naturally, he can exert his incomparable fighting and fighting ability. One specializes in the power of life and magic in the body and uses the supernatural power to erupt various powerful combat powers. Change another day. There are also fellow initiates, and this is not a big problem. But the focus of practice is different. In the end, they have the same goal. This broken jade spear method is even more advanced combat skills, and it is absolutely rare today. As long as you can practice successfully, your own combat power will inevitably increase. As soon as I was thinking, my mind immediately immersed in my mind, the book of jade representing broken jade and war spear opened naturally. A lifelike picture scroll appears in my mind, www.novelhall.com, welcome the book readers to read, the latest, fastest, hottest serial works are all in, www.novelhall.com, mobile users, please read. Chapter 68. Broken Jade Spear. The first thing I saw in front of me was a picture scroll. On the scroll, there is only one thing, that is a ***** blood jade war spear. This war spear is covered with countless fine cracks, each of which is clearly visible, covering the war spear, just like the entire war spear is made up of countless pieces of blood jade. Like the ceramics that are about to be broken, they are covered with cracks. It seems that even a casual touch will completely break the war spear. But Yi Tianxing saw the moment. A tragic, unspeakable, willful mind crazed into his mind and imprinted in his soul. Kill, 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 kill all powerful enemies, kill all demons. Even if I die, I will bite a piece of meat from you. Kill, soldiers, charge, even if it is dead, you will have to pull a few backs. It is better to die than to die. Can destroy my body, but it is impossible to destroy my will. Even if it is dead, you have to fight, fight, fight. The fire burns, the jade burns. A fierce roar, roar, passed from this blood jade war spear, as if every fissure contains a sorrowful and violent fight. From them, they can feel a strong Ningwayu falling, not the momentum and will of Wadden. This kind of will let them have a kind of spirit that burns their own jade. I have no fear of death, and the will to fall at any time. Only then can I let go of everything and exert my strongest combat power. Heaven and earth, I am invincible. It's better to die for jade than to be full of tiles. Jade and jade burn, just for the immortal will in the heart, good domineering spite, good tragic meaning of martial arts. This is the true meaning of martial arts, the true essence of warfare. There is no such conviction that lives and forgotten death, bloodshed, and in desperate circumstances, they are still willing to burn jade and stone, and I am afraid that it is impossible to cultivate this spear method to the peak and temper this broken jade spear. Quote, this spear law has the most powerful momentum, and the stronger the momentum, the stronger the combat power that erupts. In a word, I want to fight with you, that is, a dead war. I will set aside life and death, and have no faith in determination. In front of this spear law, it will be completely suppressed. Not only was Yi Yixing's heart not intimidated, but he looked forward to this spear law more and more. With a break in her mind, she opened the second page again. This page is still a picture scroll. On the scroll, there is also a line of font. The painting is still a war spear, but it is a white and white jade war spear. On the war spear, it is crystal clear and flawless. It is like seeing the most perfect art in the world at first glance. Product. People are immersed in it, it is difficult to extricate themselves. Anxious to own it, hold it in your arms, no longer let go. It's amazing and can't bear to destroy. So beautiful, the flawless white jade, that beauty, is thrilling. On the white jade spear, a line of fonts emerged. White jade shines flawlessly in Kyushu. Only 7 words fell into Yi Tianxing's eyes, but I felt an indescribable mood, like being in a white jade, flawless and innocent, and proud of Kyushu. At the same time, a spear method was imprinted directly in my mind. The spear method is not important, it is nothing more than the use of the basic spear method. But it's faster, and there's only a little difference in the way of luck. Really want to count, the spear method, which is an extension of several spear methods, how to run hard, in an instant, the 9 spear shadows are illusioned, and the virtual market changes, making people unpredictable. The key is still the basic spear method. Just use it. The foundation is the foundation of everything. The key lies in the spear meaning contained in this type of spear method. It is this white jade war spear, and the ancient words on the war spear. This is the name of this spear, and it is also spear. Good overbearing spear, good jade spear breaking method, really powerful. Once repaired, a spear waved, the world is like white jade flawless, exhausting all enemies. Yi Tianxing took a long time to get the whole mind out of that white jade the spear was collected. This picture is spearheaded, but this spear is not very clear, it is obvious. Seems a bit illusory. This is not the original version of the broken jade spear law. It is just a top-up version. Businessmen do business. If there is only interest, they can maximize the benefits and do everything. Yi Tianxing shook his head and looked at the white jade bookshelf. That jade book. This is Takumoto, my mind had guessed before. However, wanting to be the original idea is just a dreaming act. What Jen really wanted to give was the original, and Jia Chengxin was just a businessman. But the difference between the original version and the original version is the question of the meaning of martial arts. If you wait for future cultivation success, you can re-inject spice into it, even if the original version is not worse than the original, and may even be stronger. It's okay, as long as you can cultivate. Later, he chose another sword technique in the Tibetan scripture pavilion, Iron Blood 8 Swords, which is only the best combat skill of Huang Jia. Here, it's not deeper than that, but he didn't choose. He chose this sword for one reason. The true ***** sword, the sword is dead, and he recruits and kills the enemy. After choosing 2 combat techniques, he didn't stay for a long time, and turned to leave the Zhangjing pavilion. Night. The villagers gathered in the open space, set up a fire, and set fire to cook rice. Although they now have their own houses and residences, everyone likes to gather in the open space, eat a large pot of rice, chat, boast, and have fun. Heart. Eat a meal, wipe out all the fatigue of the day in laughter. These days, one by one, are familiar. I really like old friends and folks who have been together for many years. Even here, you can rely on life and death. This is a friendship that has been sharpened out of trial and error. Like the Root family. Even if you build a house, every family has a kitchen to cook a fire, but few of them are willing to go back to eat by themselves, or they like to sit together and eat a large pot of rice, but it is lively. Yi Tianxing was also sitting in front of a fire, talking to Huang Chengyan and holding a wooden stick with a fat pheasant on it, while roasting on the fire, and constantly turning to make the flame even. Burning on the pheasant, a layer of orange-yellow oil appeared on the surface, the roasted oil was shiny, and the fragrant smell was rushing into it. Sprinkle a handful of fine salt, the scent really makes people drool in the throat. Lai, come, Huang Lao, Da Hu, and Yu Kun, how about the taste of this pheasant I roasted? Before the soldiers sent the people to cut down the trees, and found a few pheasants nearby, they immediately hunted them down and gave them to Yi Tianxing to beat the teeth. This is not the case. 4 of them were buried underground, covered with fragrant leaves and mud, buried under the fire, and made into a chicken called a chaffinch. The golden yellow roast chicken emits a strange scent, which is really a hookworm. I took out the saber and divided the roast chicken into portions. Yi Xingxing eats it first. He pulled a chicken wing and put it in his mouth. Pheasants are different from domestic chickens. The meat of pheasants has a kind of sweetness and fragrance of wild taste, and the meat has amazing elasticity. The pieces of meat are completely stacked together, and they are chewed. Oitsu, meaty fragrance flowing in the mouth. He chewed pieces of chicken in pieces, swallowed them, and the desire for good food made every inch of flesh and blood in the body again and again. After being refined by Shi Ding, it is directly incorporated into the flesh and blood of the whole body. Immediately, a force of heaven and earth blended into the flesh and bones silently. I strengthen my body and strengthen my strength. These days, eating all kinds of ferocious beasts and game products has greatly stimulated the food cells in the body, transformed the physical strength of the body, and the increased strength has reached hundreds of kilograms. This has not been exercised, is it? The power of eating 3 meals a day. Imperceptibly, naturally increased. This is the food that you make yourself. If you have a top chef, the effect will be even more amazing. Then swallowed a pheasant into his belly. And this called chicken is even more rare and delicious, so fresh that Yi Tianxing almost eats even his tongue. In the body, every cell is laughing and excited excitedly, www.novelhall.com, that kind of unparalleled gratification, so that the vitality of the earth is constantly flowing into the body and being absorbed into the flesh. One called a chrysanthemum adds hundreds of pounds of strength, making the body tougher and stronger. Only top quality food can make meat, body stronger. In the future, you must find a few top chefs. Such chefs should not be in the minority. It seems that you should pay careful attention in the future. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. He has no resistance to food. The feeling of eating food is really wonderful. President, I found it. There are smoke and fire in the deep valley. I didn't notice it before, but I don't think it's more and more like there are other villages over there. A soldier ran over quickly, Bing reported. Go to the wall. When Yi Yixing heard it, he threw the chicken bone in his hand to the ground, turned around, and walked towards the wall. When I came to the wooden wall and looked deep into the valley, I could see that in the night, I could see the glare of the flickering light, and see where the flare appeared. It was not far from Xuanwang village. The distance should be 10 miles or less. How far you need to go in person to know? Sure enough, in the valley, depending on the situation, not far away. Huang Chengyan also nodded his head and said, Master, let's go and see if we can bring those villagers back. No, this time I'm going to go in person, don't forget. Then Jia Chengxin also said that there is an army near here. I don't know where in the village can't leave the people. Huang Lao's cultivation is better than me now. Be strong. Only if you sit in the village can you ensure safety. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please read. Chapter 69. Man vs. Wild. Ji Yixinxing also knew that Huang Chengyan said that he wanted to go by himself, and also wanted to prevent him from making danger easily. After all, he was the village head of Xuanwang village, the son of thousands of gold, and he did not stand at risk. His life has affected the fate of many people. However, Yi Tianxing still intends to go by himself. Although everyone in Xuanwang village cultivates, there are not many people who can be deployed to guard Xuanwang village. They are already very strenuous for Wang Dahu. This is still the people in the village. When the situation was critical, they rushed up to fight to resist them. The village stands upright. Moreover, the nearby army also made Yi Tianxing secretly vigilant. There are millions of worlds in the world, whether it is games, movies, TV series, novels, biographies, history, legends. There are too many troops. No one knows where the army came from, and no one can figure out. If something is wrong, it may not be good for the village. His plan is to first explore the neighbors nearby, then find a way to find the army, and see if there is a chance to get it. What's more, Yi Tianxing also wants to personally feel the changes in the world today. How many terrible beasts and monsters exist near here? See for yourself what this new world has become. As long as he is in the valley, he still has the confidence to cross the distance. Brother monk, you have to keep going to grow into growth. In this case, the old man can only help the protagonist to guard the village. Huang Chengyan heard and shook his head. In these days when he got along, he has been observing Yi Tianxing's character and behavior. Naturally, with his character, as long as he makes up his mind, he will definitely not make changes easily. And, after all, this is not too far away. In the valley, the ability to travel easily, even if it is dangerous, should not be fatal. He believes that Yi Tianxing must have the atmosphere in his body. Go back and leave early tomorrow. Yi Yixing waved his hand, turned down the wall, and returned to the mansion. As soon as he went back, he entered cultivation. This time he is going to completely open the remaining 2 meridians, open up all the 12 canals, and completely complete the second important practice of Shanhai. In this way, tomorrow's trip can also have greater confidence. Foot Shaoyan Kidney Meridian, Ways, Yongquan, Rangu, Taishi, Dazong, Shuichuan, Zhaohai, Fushua, Zhaoshin, Zubin, Yinggu, Horizontal Bone, Da, Air Points, Simon, Zhang. There are 27 acupoints in Zuyu, Shengyu, Shengchu, Shiguan, Yindu, Tonggu, Yumen, Corridor, Shenfeng, Lingshu, Shenzang, Langzhong, Yufu, and there are 54 points on the left and right. Acupuncture points. This time I went all out and rushed away. Quote. The next day, early morning. Shi Tianmingliang, in front of the village, Huang Chengyan, Wang Dahu, Jia Yukan and others stood under the arch. Go back and keep the village for me. It's just a little experience, it's not a big deal. Yi Tianxing waved calmly behind him. Please rest assured, we will keep the village well. Wang Dahu said with a clap on his chest. After glancing at the crowd, Yi Tianxing turned without hesitation and turned towards the deep valley. The direction to go is exactly where the fire was seen last night. Stride forward. The spirit of Qi has recovered to its peak. Last night, it was even more exciting. It completely opened up the 2 remaining meridians in the body. The impurity toxins contained in the meridian channels were all refined and vanished. A lot of heaven and earth vitality constantly shuttled through the meridian channels and swarmed like a river. Into the Shanhai, turned into colorful clouds, hovering over the Shanhai. At every moment, heaven and earth vitality pours into the body. As long as you practice the exercises, you can increase your vitality a little bit. This second level practice of Shanhai realm is now reaching the level of great consummation. If you practice again, you will break through the 8 classics and enter the 3rd place of Shanhai. The 8 classic veins are more difficult to break than the 12 serious ones. The role of the 8 strange meridians is to communicate the 12 canons, and to completely co-connect the unconnected meridians of the 12 canals, as if each meridian before was an unrelated stream. There are various barriers between each other, so that each meridian can be connected and completely penetrated. Once it is completely opened, the whole body meridians can be connected in series. This is why in the biographies of the novels, the second pulse of Rendu was opened up, the skills increased greatly, and the true energy continued, because all the meridians were connected, because when the true energy passed through the meridians, it could naturally draw the heaven and earth vitality in the meridian channels, restore the lost energy. This is the real reason for the endless flow of true qi. This process is extremely difficult. It is more difficult than getting through the 12. The obstacles in the 8 strange paths are not condensates of innate air, but real impurities. Like a rock. It's really hard to break. Of course, these are the last words. I have already run through the 12 serious Yi Tianxing, without any hesitation, strode forward. In today's world, it can be said that there are wild places everywhere, civilization exists only in villages, and it is the most primitive state. Walking in the wilderness, almost any negligence may eventually be fatal. Qian Wang, to go deep into the valley, you must go through a jungle. Otherwise, you have to walk around from the grass next to you, but you have to go around, and the distance is farther. For the jungle, you must always get involved, and Yi Tianxing chose the most direct way. The ancient trees are towering, weeds are running through, shrubs are standing. Various vines walk between trees. Such jungles are approaching primitive jungles. It is conceivable that the danger of walking in the jungle requires 120,000 vigilance. Those without alert are already buried in the wilderness. Puff puff. The way that Yi Yixing walks through the jungle is very rough and direct. I faced the shrubs and vines that were standing in front of me. Pull out the sword, and chop it in the direction of the bush. The powerful flesh and body, waving the sword, the speed is so fast that people can only see a knife flashing in front of their eyes. The shrubs standing in front of them were chopped off, fell to the ground, and Yi Tianxing stepped directly under his feet. This was so straightforward and so decisive. Su Ning takes it straight, not in the song. There is no road in front of him. I was so simple and rude. Is the most effective way. Circling around in this dense jungle is enough to stun you, and you can't find the direction at all. I slashed the shrubs, cut the vines, and cut the wood, straight across. Instead, it is the best solution. Tang's sword was sharp, and Yi Tianxing's physical strength skyrocketed during this time. Chopping the thorns did not have any difficulty for him. Even the consumption of strength was trivial. Once the strength was consumed, the heaven and earth vitality in the body could let the power in the flesh was restored again. Even long chopping will not make him feel really tired. Shrubs, split, vine, cut off, branch, cut off. I walked all the way. Wherever I went, behind him, we had been cut out of a road that could accommodate 3 or 4 people to pass together, straight ahead. As Yi Tianxing continued to move forward, suddenly, on a branch above his head, a humble dry branch bounced out without warning. As fast as lightning, he shot fiercely towards Yi Tianxing's throat. Ding! I said late, that time was fast. At the moment when the attack appeared, Yi Tianxing did not hesitate to turn back to the vine's tang sword and lay in front of him. Collided with that gray light, the gray light fell to the ground. It is a gray tadpole, 1 meter long, twisting his body, and it looks numb. Secretly cold. You can tell at a glance that it is definitely not good. I really want to be bitten. I'm afraid he will die on the spot, and he is very toxic. At the moment when the cricket landed on the ground, countless legs danced quickly, and it was necessary to dig into the dense bush. But he didn't wait for it to escape at all. With a flash of light, his head was chopped off. On the puppet's carapace, amazing resistance passes. Zan's head fell to the ground, and the vegetation around him instantly withered. The soil became dark. Great, this wugong is poisonous. If I get a bite, I really don't know if I can hold it. Yi Tianxing also secretly tightened his heart, and had a deeper understanding of the dangers of this world. Okay, I heard that the more poisonous the meat is, the more delicious the meat is. Such a large meat, cooking with heart, that is the finest food. Looking at the body of the meat, www.novelhall.com, muttered to himself, then just put this corpse dead body politely. In his eyes, this is an excellent meal. Poisonous snakes, jackals, fist-sized poisonous mosquitoes, poisonous spiders hiding in the dark. Almost every moment he is attacking Yi Tianxing. In addition, the timing of the attack was extremely precise. Rao Shiyixing never relaxed his vigilance, and still seemed a little dazed. No, I don't want to die, I don't want to be eaten. It's over, monsters, am I going to be eaten by these monsters? It's terrible. No, I'm the king of blessings, I'm the king, whoever can save me, I'm willing to reward thousands of dollars. Monsters, human-eating monsters, how can this be? How can this world become like this? Where is this? It is terrible, I want to go home. Whoever can save me, as long as I am not eaten by these monsters, I am willing to serve my whole life as a cow and a horse. I will be loyal, and I will never have 2 hearts. Miscellaneous families must be loyal. As Yi Tianxing continued to open the way forward, rushing to the position of the good neighbor in the valley. Suddenly, a messy scream and a cry lingering in his ears, and the location of the movement was not to go. Village direction. It is in the southwest direction, not far away. But the news coming out should be undoubtedly human. You ren, some people, and the number is quite large. There is no human voice in this village yet. Yi Yixing walked in his heart and turned to look at the direction of the sound, but after a little thought, he didn't hesitate again. Quickly rushed towards the place where the sound comes out. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest, and most popular serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users, please read. Chapter 70. Ogre. Chu open black lens bracket recommended collection close black lens bracket. Human voice. Someone. She and me. What does that mean? In the eyes of Yi Tianxing, that is the population, which is the foundation for the expansion of Xuanwang village. Even if it is any one, it is the essence and the most precious to the village. What's more, the sound he heard clearly did not come from one person, but a large number of humans. As long as such a large number of humans can be rescued, in Xuanwang village, it is a large number of villagers. The true heritage can increase the strength of the village. Otherwise, it will never be developed without fresh blood supplementation. With the integration of all walks of life, not only the number of humans is large, but the lives of various monsters, fierce beasts, and even other races are not in the minority. They are scattered everywhere. It is even possible to be captured and imprisoned by other monsters and other races. Nothing is impossible. But now it is certain that there are really scattered human people in this jungle. Moreover, depending on the situation of these people is definitely not better. Otherwise, there will be no wailing or screaming. Be careful and lurk forward quickly. The combat suit on the puppet can make the body more inconspicuous in the jungle, and hide the body trace to the greatest extent. After a short while, the field of vision immediately opened up. Hidden her body behind a big tree and looked forward. Ji Wei, a very amazing picture is present. I was in front of him, a huge camp. Sting in the middle of the camp, setting fire to the fire. It was surrounded by cages, which bound a large number of human people. Each cage was hung from a tree with vines. At a glance, I was afraid there were dozens or hundreds of them, and several humans were imprisoned in each cage. Each one looked horrified, his face horrified. In front of the torch, one can see that a statue is huge and burly. Full-mouthed fangs, humanoid monsters, at least 2 adults tall, 3 or 4 meters tall, like giants, stout hands and feet, gnawing claws, shocking fangs. The terrifying muscles transmitted a kind of trembling oppression. Give birth to infinite fear. Such monsters, in the eyes of ordinary humans, are evil spirits and monsters. Moreover, the largest one, which has a body size of 5 or 6 meters, is even more amazing and terrifying. You can tell at a glance that it is definitely not easy to deal with. Ogre. Tong Yishanxing's eye pupils contracted violently for a while. The appearance of these monsters is almost exactly the same as that of a monster seen on the internet before, and they are ogres. Among creatures, scary hunters like to eat people the most. Moreover, a force is quite horrible, and it is also a very brutal race. Looking at me, it is just a small ogre tribe. Looking at the number of ogres, it is not too many, only 7 or 8 heads, but they have caught hundreds of people. I can see, beside the fire, there is a woman with a naked body, a messy lower body, blood dripping, and has been tortured to death. The encounter, conceivably, must be extremely miserable and terrifying. This can be seen from the pale faces of many women held in cages. No woman is willing to endure such terror. Alas, it might as well be killed directly. The ogres surrounded the fire, beating wildly, dancing the dances belonging to their clan. It looked rude, but a group of ogres jumped up, but they felt a kind of horror. I stepped on the ground, shaking the mountain. It looks terrible. Boom. After jumping, I only saw that an ogre strode forward and came to a cage. There was only one human in that cage, but there was only one person who could describe it, and that was fat. Is not ordinary fat, the whole person, just like a meatball. That weight, even if it is less, it is more than 300 kilograms. It seems that it is really hard to believe that this is still personal, and it is too blessed to be long. Fatty ears, a person, let the cage make an unpleasant noise, as if it could not bear its weight, it was about to collapse. Of course, this cage is strong, and collapse is impossible. The ogre came to the fat man, looked at the fat body, grinned, and the water flowed out of his fangs. Uchacha. I stretched out my hand and looked into the prison cage, grabbed a fat thigh, and just pulled it out. The 300-odd-pound fat man was in the hands of the ogre, almost as if he had no weight, and fluttered out. The man's face was scared and pale, like a piece of white paper, screaming frantically, snotting and tears, it was all over his face. Save me, don't eat me. I am the king of blessings, I am the king of blessings of daming, and eating me will offend my daming royalty. I don't want to die, I don't want to be eaten, mother, who will save me? I have money, I have a lot of money, don't eat me, I will give you all. The big fat man caught in the hands of the ogre shouted, his body trembled with fear in his heart, causing a wave of meat on his body. The people in those cages were all white with scared faces, and many were even scared for incontinence. But he didn't even dare to scream. He covered his mouth tightly, for fear that it might cause those ogres' ideas to be caught and eaten. Fu Wong, daming, still a big fat man, it seems that he has no need to run, this guy is the legendary Fu Wong, it is really fat, but the destiny is not much different, in history he was made Fulu by Li Zicheng, the banquet is now being eaten by an ogre. There is too much meat on my body, not good. Quote. Qi Yishenxing saw in the dark, and couldn't help showing a strange look in his eyes. It has been guessed who the fat man is. However, think about this blessing king also being eaten. He is fat, and the ogre doesn't eat him first, does he keep him off? I looked at that ogre, although they were all fighting powers at the level of the Sea of God, but there were too many of them, and the ogre's ability to kill was absolutely not weak. Once surrounded, Yi Tianxing will be instantly in danger. He didn't plan to get involved directly for the benefit of a pig-like king. That's the same behavior as an idiot. Stupid like a pig. Wow. After the ogre raised Fu King to the fire, he immediately packed it up, tore all the clothes on Fu King to pieces, smashed it out, and some ogre took out a bamboo tube and inserted it directly into Fu King's mouth. A bucket of clear water is poured down the bamboo tube. King Fufu had no resistance at all, and a large bucket of water was poured into his stomach like this. The belly that was originally big became more rounded at once. As soon as the bamboo tube was pulled out, a paw was pressed on the stomach of Fu Wong. Wow! With a loud yell, Fu King opened his mouth with a water arrow, and everything in his stomach was sprayed out at this moment. No drips remained. The inside of the stomach is considered to be thoroughly cleaned. Then, the ogre pulled his legs away again, and a bamboo tube drew into the chrysanthemum. King Fuck was screaming. He fainted on the spot. The scream screamed when he heard it and he wept when he saw it. Many people fainted and passed out. Then, another bucket of water was poured from a bamboo tube. Yi clean up the stomach without foreign bodies. With that picture, even Yi Tianxing was shocked in his heart. He couldn't help but open his mouth wide and secretly felt sympathy for the blessed king. Seems to see a chrysanthemum flower withering on the ground. What? After doing this, the ogre took out a wooden stick, drew it from the chrysanthemum with a scream, and inserted the king of Fu directly on the wooden stick. That scream was even worse. He swayed at will, and blessed King Fu on the fire so lightly. The blessing of King Fuck was not dead, the flames fell on the living, and the pain was conceivable. I saw with my own eyes that he was roasting on the fire, that kind of fear, that kind of pain, it was simply impossible to describe in words. The ogre around him heard a scream and made a weird laugh. Oochacha, oochacha, hold a good blessing king, and after being roasted a few times by the flame, there was no sound. He was scared to death without being burned. In short, it was already dead, and the body kept turning with the ogre, and a layer of oil was roasted. It also exudes a fragrant smell of roast meat. It looks no different from a roast pig. Seeing the ogre around, he was even more happy. He kept yelling at the blessing king on fire, and you read the book www.uakanshu.com seems to be saying that this human being has a lot of meat, and that peace is better. That picture can scare ordinary people on the spot. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, after seeing it, I felt nauseous, and my heart was very uncomfortable. It was definitely not so good to see the same kind being roasted and eaten. It really is a group of cannibalism monsters. All these were captured and all were his food. Hundreds, not a small number, if all were rescued, it would be of great help to strengthen the village. We must think way to save. Quote. Qi Yishenxing took a deep breath and forced the uncomfortable feeling in his heart. Gaze coldly in the camp, the ogres who are starting to eat the blessing king, quickly turning their thoughts, how can we solve these ogres? Fight positive. He was not afraid of one or two, but he couldn't stop the 7 or 8 heads together. Plus the humans caught here. The current situation is that you can only take wisdom, not hard. You must think of a good way. Ogres are powerful, with strong skin and thick flesh. They are very cruel and violent. Although the wisdom is not high, it is definitely not low. This is a group, even a race, and it is definitely a race in the Eternal Continent. They will cooperate with each other. There are only two ways to deal with these ogres. One is to divide them and separate them, and then try to kill them separately. The second is to find a way to cut all ogres in one fell swoop, kill. Yi Yixing's eyes flickered, and she thought in her heart. Yu Reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in Yu Reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 71, Catastrophe. Confrontation is the most unwise, but how to deal with it needs to think carefully. In my heart, I was thinking secretly, and my thoughts were rapidly turning. Various thoughts collided in my mind. Just a moment, when the King of Fortune was completely eaten by the ogre, a thought had been quickly perfected in my heart. This method requires risk, but it is the best way now. It may be dangerous, but this risk is still worth taking. Yi Yixing's eyes had a certain look, and her body was hidden in the weeds again. Gaze at the cages in the camp. The human beings in these cages have different clothes and appearances. There are wealthy children, ordinary people, adult men, and weak girls. There are old people and young children. But at this moment, they are imprisoned in a cage, like a lamb to be slaughtered. I don't know when they will be grilled on the fire by this group of cannibalizing monsters and eaten with a single mouthful. This is the cruelty of this era, there is no absolute protagonist. In the past, humans were powerful. All pigs and sheep were kept in captivity and slaughtered at will. All species were meals, but now they are powerful beasts and monsters. They are reduced to food, that is, humans, impermanence and freedom of competition. Only self-reliance. Yi Yixing secretly realized a hint of understanding. Today's Eternal Continent is definitely not just a race of human beings, just like the ogre tribe in front of it. There are small tribes, there must be big tribes, and many other races that coexist in the same world. Races there is not much reason to race, just for survival, you can fight between life and death, ****** killing, there is absolutely no mercy at all. Just like the ogres eat people now, human beings, in their eyes, is food, which is food. I must grow as fast as possible and lay the foundation firmly. The sense of urgency in my heart instantly became stronger. Whoever can save me, the miscellaneous family must be a cow and a horse, even if it is dead, the miscellaneous family does not want to be eaten by these monsters. A needless white-faced man murmured with distracted eyes. He didn't want to die, and he saw with his own eyes that even if someone committed suicide, those ogres caught it out politely, roasted it on the fire, and ate it. Strangling cannot escape the fate of being eaten. In his mind, what if there is a miracle? He also made up his mind that when he was about to be eaten, he started by himself and decided to make a decision. So as not to suffer inhuman suffering before death. I didn't expect my diligent readers to end up being eaten by monsters. It's a disgrace to Sven, a disgrace to the saints. A scholar in a scholar's outfit said in despair. With all beings in a state of being, no one can be at ease in the face of the fate of being eaten. If you can really be indifferent, it is a fool, an idiot, a stone that doesn't even feel life or death. He prayed secretly in his heart, praying continuously to the gods, just to get out of this hell. When those ogres laughed and ate the King of Blessing, they jumped cheerfully, and suddenly there was a sound of breaking air in the air. The sound was not low, and the ogre's ears were equally amazing and powerful, and he looked at the direction of the sound from the first moment. I looked up. I just saw a streamer descend from the sky and land directly in the camp. There was a strange bizarre, crystal-like Rubik's Cube fell in front of him. What? It fell from the sky. What a weird thing I've never seen before. It's weird. How could it suddenly land here? Is it the baby that fell from the sky, and didn't he have eyes? Many humans in the cage also saw it, and they could not see what the Rubik's Cube was, but they could also see that it suddenly flew from the sky, and at a glance, it was not an ordinary treasure. The ogre was naturally discovered. He surrounded the Rubik's Cube together. Big eyes, staring at the Rubik's Cube. An ogre reached out and grabbed at the Rubik's Cube. Brush. But when the ogre reached out to touch the cube, a strange vortex emerged on the cube without any warning, emitting a crystal-like light, spreading rapidly, covering all the approaching ogres. Immediately after, the light converged. While converging, those shrouded ogres disappeared on the spot. Only the crystal Rubik's Cube is still shining with fantastic colors. There was only one ogre in the entire camp. He is the most burly man, apparently the leader of the ogres in this camp. Roar. That is exactly. The ogre leader saw that the Rubik's Cube had lost his subordinates directly. He was furious on the spot, grabbed a large stone, and smashed it toward the Rubik's Cube. He dropped it on the Rubik's Cube, but it broke the stone, and the Rubik's Cube was still intact. Lost to the ground without damage. Howling. The crunching sounds that stunned the soul came out of the void. In the sounds, I only saw that a blackboard-colored iron chain shuttled through the void like a snake, appearing in front of it, entwined toward the hands and feet. The ogre's soul is very powerful, and even the sound of the impact from the yin and yang locks on the soul can hardly pose a real lethal threat to it. Just a tadpole has recovered. Click. Although this caused yin and yang to bind his body, hands, and feet, but only saw that the ogre's muscles rolled, frantically surging, and fell sharply, and the yin and yang locks that tied his hands and feet immediately were horrified. Brute force collapsed directly into pieces of yin and yang rings, flying out around. The yin and yang lock is aimed at the evil spirits and evil spirits. The undead has a powerful ability, but for living beings, the efficacy is much worse. Kill. In a killing sound, I only saw that a steel war spear was flashing with cold mansions, and an air raid came from the dark instantly. Yi Tianxing took the war spear and strode out from the hiding place. The meridians under his feet penetrated. Really, chi perfusion, just one step, is a few feet away, the force of terror, so that the ground under the feet cracks. This spear blasted directly towards the heart of the ogre's back. Once the puppet is stabbed, it can be predicted from the cold mang on the war spear that even if it is an iron plate, it must be directly blasted and pierced. Going down, a hole came out. Infuse chi in the spear, and the power in the palm is swallowed. Strike this spear, like a meteor chasing the moon. But the ogre was indeed a race in the battle. When it was attacked, it had already reacted. When he was furious on the spot, he reached out and yanked out a huge iron sword inserted in the ground, and chopped his backhand behind him. Go on. Boom. In a violent roar, I only saw that the war spear and the giant sword collided together, and the two huge forces instantly confronted each other. Today's Yi Tianxing, the physical force alone has reached the level of nearly 2,000 pounds. The previous strength coupled with the increasing power of gourmet cells, as long as you eat 1 or 2 more meals, more than 2 kilograms, it is easy. Then there is the true dragon's breath infused. The power of is enough to multiply. This kind of force hits together, and the roar erupts, which instantly makes most of the human people who are imprisoned in the cage around the whole head roar, as if a thunder blast had just sounded in his ears. His head was blank. Someone was stunned by the sound. A lot of power, absolutely more than 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of power. The giant sword also contains a strange power, like the true energy. But not as good as his flesh, physical strength. At the moment of the collision, Yi Tianxing and the ogre receded at the same time, his body trembling. The ogre stepped back directly. However, every time Yi Tianxing stepped back, she unloaded her strength from her feet, causing the ground to crack. The strength of this ogre is definitely not in the quadruple or even 5-fold level of Shanghai realm. Even stronger. Kill. That is exactly. But after stopping his body, Yi Tianxing burst into a drink with the ogre at the same time and broke out again. Brush brush. Steel war spear stabbed 9 spears instantly in Yi Tianxing's hands. Infuse it with real energy, and at the moment of hands-on, I saw that a series of 9 spears appeared in front of and towards the ogre weak, and 9 stabbings passed. That spear shadow, in an instant, even made people unable to distinguish between real and illusory. In the war spear, passed a tragic and hard breath. No bloodshed, no truce. Smashing jade spear method. White jade flawlessly shines in Kyushu. This is only the first time to show off the enemy, but it can still transform the 8 spear shadows. www.novelhall.com. Even if the spear shadow is a bit illusory, it can still be extremely difficult to distinguish in an instant, and it must be distracted. Response. Power, speed, precision. All condensed in this spear. The ogre saw that in the face of the sudden appearance of the 9 spears, there was also a trace of dullness, but then he severely waved and chopped his sword at Yi Tianxing, regardless of the fighting spear that came over, and it is necessary to directly hack Yi Tianxing to death. The ogre's body is taller than humans, and the giant sword in his hand is longer than an adult. This split is enough to kill Yi Tianxing before the war spear falls on him. This is an inch-long weapon. An inch of truth. He has rich experience in killing, allowing him to make such a life-for-life play as soon as possible. Is the most perfect response. The ogre's fighting instincts are very powerful. At this moment, in the face of the huge sword that was cut directly, the tang knife in the right hand suddenly waved. This knife was very strange, not straight, but a circle in front of him, and this circle is still drawn out one after another, and you can see that the sword-like light of the circle is set towards the giant sword. This is Tai Chi, and it is the Taiji knife that is vigorously transformed into the knife. In the past, the practice of Taiji was Taiji Quan, and the weapon was the Taiji sword. In the last age of law, this boxing and swordsmanship was naturally only a traditional Chinese skill. Jin really erupted into a strange power. The Tang sword collided with that giant sword. The size of the sword is not proportional at all. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are at www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please read. Chapter 72, Alien Cube. The badger looked as if the hammer and the ant were smashing together. Dewey by that contrast creates a strong contrast. However, when the huge sword was in contact with the Tang sword, a strange situation appeared. Instead, the giant sword was pierced directly to the side, and the huge force contained in the giant sword seemed to hit cotton. Going on, not slipping, I was taken aside instantly. This change is completely beyond the expectations of the ogre, and he never expected that his weapon would be removed directly. In the fight, you can decide life and death instantly. Not to mention that now, the ogre is wrong, but Yi Tianxing did it intentionally. As soon as he moved the great sword to one side, he stepped on the ground with his feet, and his body rushed towards the ogre and war spear more quickly. The cold light flashed, and it hit the past in an instant. Bouncing towards the throat. With 9 spears, 8 fantasy and 1 reality. The real war spear was piercing the throat. The straight spear of the war spear is stabbed in the throat, and the infuriating infusion makes the war spear like a magical soldier. It is indestructible. Even the ogre's body defense is amazing. Under this spear, he is still directly surprised. The hole penetrated the throat, and the tip of the spear came out of his head. Dead as exactly. The ogre opened his eyes angrily and made a roar, without any retreat. After feeling that the war spear passed through his throat, he rushed directly towards Yi Tianxing, and a red light appeared on his body. In the red light, the body as if all of them were skyrocketing suddenly, a huge claw was shot again in Yi Tianxing's chest. Talented supernatural power rage, fate of life raging. With this blow, Yi Tianxing flew upside down on the spot, the bones in his chest were broken, and a burst of reverse blood was ejected directly in the air, his body hit the ground, and a trench of several meters long was plowed directly on the ground. I spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. Benefactor. Benefactor, how are you? This scene, in the eyes of many humans in the cage, each one changed his face and shouted quickly. Sui Yishanxing suddenly shot and killed the ogre stupidly. This was already a life-saving beneficiary in their hearts, allowing them to completely get rid of the fate of being eaten by monsters. This kind of affection is really deeper than the sea. What really happened was that their conscience was uneasy. A great ogre, a great magical power, can actually multiply the power instantly at the last moment, and the attack when dying is really terrible. If not for me these days, the power of the flesh, the body has greatly increased, the flesh and bones are more than a few times stronger than before. At this moment, I am afraid I can shoot me directly. It really is a powerful fighting race. Quote. Yi Tianxing lay on the ground and coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood one after another. Fortunately, his body was strong, and for a while, he slowly breathed his breath. He staggered from the ground and moved to restore the broken bones in his chest. He took out another mineral water bottle and slammed water into his mouth. This is not ordinary river water, but well water in the moon well. Before departure, a few bottles were deliberately filled with empty mineral water bottles, just in case it was critical. It just happens to be used now. After drinking a bottle of moonwell water, a cool air quickly melted into the flesh and blood, and the location of the bones in the body became comfortable, stimulating the bones to heal and recover quickly. Coupled with Yi Tianxing's strong physique, it won't take long to recover. He came to the ogre, stretched out his hand to take back the war spear, and a blood arrow spewed out. Already killed, his body fell directly to the ground. Retake the Rubik's Cube again. At the heart's motion, the mind appeared in the Rubik's Cube. This alien dimension cube is a very wonderful strange treasure. It contains all kinds of strange rules. The most important thing is that in this Rubik's Cube, various killing arrays can be laid. Today, it's just the original embryo. There are only 126 lattice rooms inside. Every room can be set as safe house or death secret room. The tadpole contains the power of mysterious fantasy, which can be used to make rules just like dominating the deities, but the most important rule of the alien cube is that it contains a hint of vitality. As long as you can find that line of vitality, you can survive and save your life. Moreover, the secret room where it was first put in must be a safe house, and there is no dangerous safe room. As long as you don't want to run away, there is absolutely no danger, but if you are going to run away, you must be mentally prepared to die at any time. Nowadays, Yi Tianxing has already arranged the killing organs in each of the secret rooms of the Rubik's Cube well and designed them in place. I took it out this time and unexpectedly put all the 67 ogres into the Rubik's Cube. He now immersed himself in his mind and immediately saw everything in the Rubik's Cube. When the puppet was drawn in, all these ogres gathered in a room. This secret room is snow white, the building materials of the room are sci-fi and magical, with sci-fi golden light shining, and magic light. It seems to be a combination of science fiction and spiritual civilization. Bang bang bang, several ogres were suddenly caught in the Rubik's Cube, locked in the secret chamber, and immediately smashed into the secret chamber wall in anger and frantic. The power was huge, but the thousands of pounds of force bombarded the secret chamber, but let those powers disappeared strangely, as if the walls were all bottomless pits, and all the power was swallowed directly. There were no traces on the wall. I want to break open forcibly, it's just a crazy dream. It's impossible. A group of stupid idiots, if these secret rooms can be easily destroyed, isn't this unusual treasure of mine too wasteful? I'd like to see how long you can live in it. Seeing Yi Tianxing, he couldn't help but sneer on the spot. In this closet, there are 6 doors on the front, back, left, right, up and down. Each side has a door that can be opened directly. After opening, there is a light door. As long as the light door is drilled in, it can enter the opposite closet, room. The ogre kept roaring angrily, after discovering that the chamber could not be destroyed. He bumped around and found the door to other secret rooms. A ogre opened the door and saw the light door that appeared in front of him. He strode straight into it, and as soon as he entered it, he went into a strange tunnel. Even if it is large, it can be easily accommodated without any feeling of crowding. You can see another door in a blink of an eye. After opening, just found an identical closet. The anger on this ogre's face was more intense, and he hesitated without hesitation, followed the passage, and fell into the new secret room. Brush. As soon as he fell, at the top of the closet, a sprinkler head full of fine holes appeared directly, and a piece of transparent liquid sprayed out like a heavy rain, covering most of the area in the closet. The ogre's body is burly, and in the face of sudden rain, there is no room to escape, and the entire body has been completely wet. What? After the rain dripped on the body, the ogre didn't feel anything at first, but in the blink of an eye, he made a scream. The whole flesh, in the eyes, quickly melted, and it turned into a liquid flowing down. Even if it was his skin, it is thick and thick, still in just a few breaths, it directly turns into a pool of liquid and completely melts away, and the dead can't die anymore. After the ogre died, even the liquid disappeared, but in a mysterious core space of the Rubik's Cube, there was a crystal sky pool in the space. In the pool, a drop of blood-colored liquid naturally appeared. Inside, it seems to be able to feel fear, death, despair, and so on. The 7 emotions and 6 desires all flow into it, as if to pull the mind into it. This is the sin karma condensed by a different dimensional Rubik's Cube. Any creature that enters a different dimensional Rubik's Cube, once it dies in the Rubik's Cube, its karma will be absorbed by the Rubik's Cube, refined, and integrated into this mouth of Tianqi. The power fills Tianqi, and the Rubik's Cube will transform and be promoted. This is a terrible treasure for killing. Quote, I already knew before that Yi Tianxing that this Rubik's Cube is a killing device. All beings have sins, but there are more and less problems. Once they fall into the Rubik's Cube will naturally absorb the karma from the entrant, and the deeper the karma, the stronger the danger encountered in the Rubik's Cube. The more frequently, it's harder to survive the killings again and again unless you stay in the safe house. For those with shallow karma, even if they leave the safe house, www.novelhall.com, they have a chance to get a chance. As long as you wash your karma, you can free yourself from the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube does not kill people without karma, nor does it kill good people. But once you die in the Rubik's Cube, all your karma will be absorbed by the Rubik's Cube. This is an innate rule of Rubik's Cube. Even Yi Tianxing cannot change its rule of killing supremacy. Into a different dimension cube, none of these ogres can survive. Yi Yixing regained his mind. He had already seen that an ogre had stepped into the secret chamber containing the trap of the organ. Instantly, it was directly twisted into pieces by the wire mesh rotating cutting mechanism and divided into countless pieces. The wire was formed by the power of the Rubik's Cube, sharp enough to be comparable to the magic weapon. Strangled in the past, the ogre's body was also shredded. There is no chance of survival. This is a trap of dying institutions. Other ogres can never escape the fate of death. This is the horror of the alien dimension cube. After lifting up the Rubik's Cube, he looked up at the cages hanging around him. All the humans in the cages looked at him expectantly. Obviously, I hope he can rescue them. Yi Yixing saw that without hesitation, he quickly cut off the vines hanging from the cage and dropped the cage to the ground. Swing the knife open the cage. A human was released from the cage. Great, finally saved. Dad, you died so terribly, why should you be eaten by those monsters instead of me? Survived, really survived. The previous days were simply ***, www.novelhall.com, welcome the book readers to read, the latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in, www.novelhall.com, mobile users, please read. Chapter 73, Cao Zhengchun. Readers, interested ones can be added. 477-12342 VIP group. A rescued citizen had complex emotions on his face, rejoicing and bewildered. Laughing, crying, in various ways, between life and death, there is a great horror, whether to survive the death, or to survive the mouth of a man-eating monster. The gratitude and joy of many people have reached an indescribable level. Not to mention the gratitude of Yi Tianxing. The respect that comes out of your eyes can be seen. This is pulling them from **** to earth. Thank you for your help. Someone bowed to Yi Tianxing on the spot. If it wasn't for the benefactor's shot, we wouldn't be able to escape the end of being eaten alive by those cannibalistic monsters. This kind of kindness is higher than the sky and thicker than the ground. I would like to be a cow and a horse for a lifetime to repay the kindness. Someone shouted. Benefactor, I would like to repay the benefactor for your slaves. A woman said in favor. The eyes of a common man looking at Yi Tianxing were frantic. The power to kill man-eating monsters and rescue them is really like God's. These days they have discovered that the whole world has changed a lot, and it is completely different from the original world. Even monsters like ogres have appeared. They are really afraid that after Yi Tianxing rescues them, they will no longer care about them and let them survive on their own. If they have just escaped from the tiger's mouth, they will fall into the wolf nest. It may not be possible to live in such an environment. Follow the strong to survive. This is the instinct of the descendants of Yanwang from the bones. Everyone doesn't have to worship me, get up. As a human race, how can you watch the same race eaten by these ogres? In addition, I have the ability to shoot. My name is Yi Tianxing, and I will build it nearby. A village, if everyone is willing, you can go to the village with me, and then support each other in the village and live together in this troubled world. Quote. Yi Tianxing smiled and lifted up a common man. Great, I am willing to join Mr. Yi's village. I am a carpenter, and I will be a carpenter. Someone heard it, immediately rejoiced. I'm a shipbuilder. I know how to build ships. I've participated in the construction of blessing ships before, someone said aloud. Very confident in his craft. Shipbuilding is a technical task. Especially for large ships, most people cannot build them. A well-known person has introduced himself. Yi Tianxing heard that he nodded secretly in his heart. These are all treasures and skilled people. They have a huge role in the process of building the village. Naturally, the more such talents, the better. If everything is good, but reading is high, it is shit, any skill is the most valuable wealth. Can the scholar alone build a village and build a house? Cao Zhengchun meets his master. At this moment, a young man without white face bowed down toward Yi Tianxing. The sound is sharp. Compared with men, there is less vigor. Cao Zhengchun, why do you worship me as the Lord? If I read correctly, you are a monk, you have vigor in your body. It is not an ordinary person. Yi Tianxing looked at Cao Zhengchun who bowed down in front of him, his eyes flashed with a touch of light. Cao Zhengchun, also, is an eunuch, and if he remembers it correctly, in history, there is a famous **** called Cao Zhengchun, and in modern times, there is a role in a TV drama, also Sao Jungchun, and in that TV drama, Sao Jungchun's strength is still at the top level. However, the age is not right. The person in front of him is very young and does not seem to be in his 20s. Slavery didn't know what was going on. The appearance of the body suddenly changed to the shape in front of my eyes. There were many memories in my mind, but those memories seemed to belong to me. There was a mysterious voice in my head. It tells me, the integration of all walks of life, demystifying and saving the truth, reshape the new life, regenerate into the world, the new life enters the cycle. The new life is remembered, and the new life is lucky. Quote, slavery didn't enter the cycle, but instead entered this new world. It fell on the eternal continent. It has the original memory, and its physical appearance has become younger. Moreover, the body is like a new life. I got changed and changed. But as soon as I entered this world, I was caught by those cannibal monsters. If it weren't for the owner's rescue, I am afraid that the slaves would not be eaten by these monsters. Quote, before, the slaves had vowed, as long as someone could save me, they would worship him as their master, be a cow and a horse, and be loyal for life. Sao Jungchun quickly told his origins and his own affairs. In order to gain trust, Yishanxing didn't hide anything. He was cultivating himself, but his vitality was sealed in his body. This is the seal sealed by the heavens and the earth during the rebirth of the new life. The original qi is sealed into all seals, and condensed into a true Dan, hidden in the body. As long as you start to cultivate again, you can refining this true Dan by yourself, get the original cultivation, and grow your strength quickly. The feeling of qi that was felt before was passed from the real Dan. Sao Jungchun has a new practice that has been modified by the heavens and the earth, or is a complete complement to the missing part of the original practice. The correct and complete state of practice in it makes it impossible for him to embark on the wrong path. At that moment, it was decided to take the path of correct practice of opening up the Sea of God. These days, even if he is caught, he is hurrying to practice time, trying hard to cultivate, he just opens the Shanhai in his body and enters the Shanhai realm. As long as the original alchemy in the body is cultivated and reabsorbed and refined, the accumulation in the early stage can be reduced. It will grow up soon. It turns out that, it seems that under the integration of the realms of the world, the major protagonists in the original world will get a creation from heaven and earth. No matter how many worlds and how many of the same characters, in the evolution of heaven and earth, they will eventually melt. For oneness, to eliminate falseness and preserve truth, in the eternal continent, there is only one self, and there will not be thousands of identical selves. In the end, all of them will be based on one self and merge with other selves. This transformation is a kind of new life, a freshman who integrates the wisdom and experience of multiple worlds. Such a life will also be a new life, a new personality, and even appearance will change. Quote, Yi Tianxing heard Sao Jungchun's narration. The stormy thoughts came to mind. This should be a secret that only the protagonist who experienced that Advent event could know. It's not personal experience, it's hard to know, it's like Yi Tianxing's family members like them. If you do and say it, others won't know what it means. It now appears that ordinary people should fall into the eternal continent normally. Those protagonists in the original fantasy world, named and named characters, get different ways of coming. One is to directly gather all of themselves, merge into a whole, and then reshape a new self. With memory, come to the eternal continent, and, during the Advent, if there is a cultivation practice, it will seal the original cultivation practice so that you have a chance to come again. Embark on a truly new life. On the other hand, after merging all of you, with your own background, you will enter the reincarnation and reincarnation cycle. This is the true new life. In the reincarnation, the original memory must not be retained, even if there are some residues. There is only a little bit of sporadic memory, which is really a new beginning. Moreover, after entering the reincarnation, the original identity of the protagonist in the fantasy world will be transformed into his own luck. With luck, as long as you don't die, there are endless possibilities. The most important thing is that most people have no choice in the face of this situation. Whether it is regeneration or reincarnation, it is random. However, Yi Tianxing speculates that if the strength is strong to a certain level, there is definitely an opportunity for choice. Otherwise, before the integration of Wanji, those top powers could not have the ability to shoot. But those are obviously not the levels you can spy on. Sao Jungchun, you really want to recognize me as the master? Yi Tianxing stared at the young man in front of him, and then reshaped his body. Obviously, he did not change his eunuch's identity and did not make up for his body defects. Because even if there are countless him, his identity is still an eunuch. Moreover, Cao Zhengchen's reputation is not very good. Slave can swear to heaven. Cao Zhengchen said without hesitation. After seeing it, since you are willing, then all of them are villagers and people in my Xuanwang village, and I will naturally treat them equally. Yi Tianxing didn't agree, and didn't directly agree, but said calmly, you gather the people around, wait, I'll take you back to the village first before talking. Quote, there is no bounds in the sky. This time I originally planned to go to find other villages, but encountered an ogre camp halfway, and accidentally rescued a large number of people. The operation to another village must be temporarily suspended. Sending these people back to the village is the most important thing. 10 birds in the forest is worse than 1 bird in hand. Accidents are always everywhere. Nothing is set. Just as it was before the cataclysm, Yi Tianxing also prepared a base on purpose, mobilizing most of his contacts, strength, and a large number of materials. Stored in the base, www.novelhall.com, at that time, it was unexpected that there would be a complete fusion, and no base was left. Therefore, after that time, Yi Tianxing knew that there was no fixed number in the world. Accidents always occur at any moment. Destiny is so impermanent. There is a tent in this ogre camp. Obviously, this is the most important place in the ogre's heart. All ogres have been killed, so naturally go in and search for it to see if you can find any treasures. Swipe, opened the tent and went in. The tent was large, like a yurt, and there were not many signs of tattering, but the contents inside surprised him for a while. At the same time, a wonderful feeling came to mind. This is a village, and these ogres also used a village order. A thought came to mind. Chapter 74, Luck Swallow. I don't care what's in this tent. But when Yi Tianxing stepped into the tent, a mysterious feeling came to his mind naturally, and the message in the dark told himself that this ogre camp is actually an ogre village, which was built with a village order, the built tribe. This means that the village order is not limited to only humans, and other races can use it as long as they get it. The establishment of a village, then there must be an air transport Tianqi, condensing the air transport belonging to the village itself. This ogre camp also gathers luck. After entering this camp, Yi Tianxing instantly got a message that the ogre camp had been completely defeated, and all the ogres in the camp had been killed. As a person who broke the camp, he could directly devour the original ogre luck of the magic camp. This is the most direct kind of plunder. Engulfed. When I thought about it, I only saw that I had a mysterious connection with Qian Tianqi in Xuanwang village. My whole mind seemed to be able to see the scene in Qian Tianqi. In the grey Qian water, a golden carp was in a pleasant place. Swimming, all of a sudden, this golden carp showed an excited look, leapt violently towards the water, and disappeared strangely from Qian Tianqi. In front of Yi Tianxing, I saw a golden carp drilled out of his body, swinging his tail, and turned into a streamer in front of him. He instantly entered the void and disappeared. But Yi Tianxing's mind can follow a golden carp in a mysterious space. This space is very similar to the space in Xuanwang village. It also has a breath of Yuntianqi in the space. In that Qiantianqi, the grey cool water inside, a black ogre is constantly consuming, but the size of this ogre is the same as an unborn baby ogre. Even the size of Qiantianqi is much smaller. After the Qian golden carp in Xuanwang village appeared here, he immediately swung his body in excitement, plunged into Tianqi without hesitation, and bit at the little ogre belonging to the piranha camp. The ogre camp has been completely annihilated, and the spirit of luck that has been closely related to the village has naturally become decadent. There is no strength to fight at all. It is a baby-like state. It faces a mighty opponent with a little resistance, none, entangled. In a short time, that decadent little ogre was forcibly swallowed. Suddenly, during the process of devouring the ogre, the lucky golden carp began to grow at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a small gold carp, completely transformed from the state of seedlings, a large circle larger than the original. The golden light shining on the golden scales on the body is more gorgeous. Spirituality has also become stronger. The water of luck in that pool was also swallowed by the golden carp and disappeared. Tianqi is dry. Moreover, because the spirit of Qi Yun was devoured, the entire Tianqi began to crack instantly, and numerous cracks appeared. Obviously it has been completely scrapped. No longer has the ability to converge air transport. This village has been ruined. Wu Qi and Jinli left from Tianqi contentedly, appeared in the tent, drilled into Yi Tianxing's body again, and then returned to Xuanwang village. It can be seen that in Qi and Tianqi, the original pond water increased by half. A considerable amount has been accumulated. Qi and Jinli naturally returned to Tianqi, swimming comfortably in the pool. Talking about these, it is a long story, but in fact the process takes place, but in a few short breaths, it has completely ended. But the luck of Xuanwang village has actually skyrocketed. This is devouring the air, directly devouring all the air in the hostile village, and even the spirit of the air is completely devoured. This is the cruelty of the war, especially the fighting between the two forces. Its cruelty is even more amazing. Looking at the whole process of engulfing Qi Yun, Xing Yishanxing gave birth to a shock. Feel the cruelty in it. If one of them falls, Xuanwang village is broken, the luck that belongs to Xuanwang village will also be swallowed up. Alas, this time it was a big benefit for me. The most direct way to strengthen your qi is to devour it. This group of ogres really searched a lot of things. It seems that when people outside were caught, they were also searched once. Most of the body was taken away and placed here. Only then did Yi Tianxing carefully consider the situation inside the tent. Here, there are all kinds of items, even food, clothes, various sundries, and tools. Weapons, etc., at a glance, they were collected from humans outside. Alas, there is also a large box made of stone in the tent. At first glance, the box was very heavy, and ordinary people couldn't open it. Ordinary items are outside. Obviously, some items that the ogre thinks are valuable are stored in this big box. I don't know what treasures it contains. It would be nice if I could get a few exotic treasures from here. It would be more perfect if it could help the village, but unfortunately, most of the exotic treasures previously seized were not lost. The way to help the construction of the village is that it is simply not suitable for the time being. The treasures that are helpful to the village are too scarce. Quote, when Yi Tianxing saw the box, he couldn't help rubbing his hands. Yes, he grabbed more than 1,000 babies, but he can only really use them now, but only a handful of them. Method. Some are architectural treasures, but now they are not suitable. There is even a top architectural treasure among the treasures obtained. But it's not for now. You have to wait until it really develops before you can use it. Now he looks forward to getting some other treasures suitable for the village from other places. It seems that I have seen a few exotic treasures in the Yusheng store before, and they were purchased without hesitation. Click. I stretched out my hand and pushed the stone box away. The stone box was really heavy. Without the power of 1,000 pounds, don't even try to open the box. This stone is not ordinary stone. Good guy, there really is a baby. There are a few treasures in the stone box, some of them are like light balls. Obviously, this shape is a strange treasure falling from the sky. The ogre has not opened it, and it is placed in the box. Qi Yishanxing reached out and grabbed a light ball. I crushed it at will, and suddenly a jade bottle appeared in my hand. Yangandan, with Zhu Yangguo as the main medicine, combined with hibiscus, jade mussel fruit and other auxiliary medicines, blended with ginseng, snow lotus and other elixir, refined by unique methods, has beauty, and eliminates all kinds of scars after taking it. It can keep the face unchanged for 100 years and always glow. The Great Xuanji Elixir. A message naturally came to mind. It turned out to be a bottle of elixir or Xuanji elixir, but this elixir is not useful to me, and it is invaluable to female nuns just to be attractive. It is a good treasure. Yi Tianxing murmured to himself. Without hesitation, put this bottle of yandan into the space of Lingju. Although it is a mysterious elixir, it is precious, but I am afraid that it will not be inferior to the elixir. I have nothing cheap when it comes to women. Moreover, this is born from fantasy, and the quality of the elixir is definitely the best. Here, the Dan medicine ranks are divided from high to low, God, Immortal, Heaven, Earth, Zan, and Yellow. 6 grades. Each stage is divided into lower, middle, top, and best. The 4 major grades are 6 grades and 24 grades. Based on the elixir level and efficacy of refining elixir, the elixir contains the power to determine the level. Shixiapan is Sancheng Dan. Dan medicine contains 30% of the potency. The rest are impurities. Long-term use will damage the foundation. Zhangpin is Liuchengdan. Dan medicine contains Liucheng medicine power, and the rest are impurities. Long-term use will cause damage. The top grade is Juchengdan. The medicine contains 90% of the potency. After taking it, the impurities are refined and the damage to itself is minimal. The best product is Shidandan, which contains 10% of the medicine power. There are no impurities in it, all are medicine power, and it is called Lingdan. What was born out of heaven and earth was the top 10 dandans, which were truly free of impurities. Xuanji need for pills. Its value is even more inestimable. Enough to make the nuns crazy. Pick up the second light ball again. Crush directly in your hand. He could see that what appeared in his hand turned out to be a drawing. On the drawings, a variety of extremely precise and wonderful parts appeared, dense, so that when people saw it, they couldn't help feeling dizzy. This drawing, Yi Tianxing saw that Yu Kanshu, especially after getting the information in his mind, his face could not be changed, and immediately followed without any hesitation, and quickly collected the drawings into the space of Lingju. There was a shock and imagination in my heart. With the slightest wave, but forcibly suppressed, I dare not think about it. The content contained in this drawing is really amazing. Once leaked, it will cause a huge impact. If you don't want to think about it, just seal up the drawing. I once again took the third ball of light from the stone chest. This is the last light sphere in the sky. This kind of exotic treasure falling from the sky cannot be too much in the ogre tribe, or it may be snatched from the captured humans. I can't have three. The light ball shattered again, but this time it appeared in the hands of a jade book. Seeing a book, Yi Tianxing's eyes suddenly lighted. No matter what it is, as long as it is a book, there is definitely nothing useless. Basic alchemy, contains basic alchemy methods, and contains common elixir of Danfang. Learned, can be called alchemist. It can make ordinary elixir. Quote, what you have in your hands is a basic sutra. Although it is not a valuable book, it is the most basic threshold for entering the ranks of alchemists. Especially there are some ordinary Danfang inside. Good thing, with this, basic scripture, you can train your own alchemist who belongs to Xuanwang village. Chu Weiming and Wang Fengxian are both masters of Xinglan, they have medical skills in themselves, and they will definitely practice alchemy easier than normal. Quote, knowledge is the most precious wealth in this world. You reading readers are welcome to come and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in UU reading. Mobile users please read. Chapter 75, Honeycomb Iron. For recommended collection, close black lens bracket. Knowledge is the crystallization of wisdom. The source of strength. Without the foundation, no matter how talented you are, you cannot easily set foot in the field of alchemists. These are the experiences and achievements that the predecessors have exhausted through countless efforts. It is the basic ladder to become an alchemist. Yi Tianxing does not need much alchemy talents from Chu Weiming and Wang Fengxian. As long as he can become an alchemist, that is a huge transformation in strength for the entire Xuanwang village. In his opinion, this is more valuable than any elixir. The elixir is only one or two, but the elixir can be used to make hundreds or even thousands of them, which can be continuous. Refine new elixir. The attention to books, Yi Tianxing is far above other rare treasures. Books carry knowledge, and knowledge has infinite possibilities. I carefully collected the basic scriptures, and looked at the stone box. There was no light ball inside, but there were still some things stored in them, and there might be strange treasures in those things. Originally a ball of light, it was crushed and opened by an ogre. What is this? Yi Tianxing grabbed another thing from the stone box, held it in his hand, just like the stone, and saw it out. It was still a strange ore, showing a dark color, but in the ore, it showed countless the fine holes, just like a honeycomb, have been pierced with numerous holes, but they have always been conceived as if they were born in heaven and earth, and the weight of this ore is not light at all. Such a fist has a weight of hundreds of pounds. This material should not be simple. It has such a strong attraction to the space of Lingju. Yi Tianxing murmured to himself when this stone was in his hand. The mysterious spirit bead in the body is already beating madly, transmitting an extremely strong desire, and madly impacting the mind and will. That is a strong desire to devour this ore. I hate to swallow this ore as soon as possible. Although he could not wait to send the ore into the Lingju space immediately, Yi Tianxing forcibly suppressed this idea and took out the wordless book. Look up. Even if it was to be swallowed, it wouldn't even know what the ore was called or what it was. Honeycomb magic iron. Allows the magic soldier to have a great chance to evolve to a higher level. It allows the magic soldier to have the unique characteristics of regeneration. Even if it is damaged, it can be restored in the shortest time. It can draw the world by itself. vitality, and with the integration of a large number of honeycomb magic irons, even the magical soldiers have a unique and ever-changing ability. It is a top treasure. Grave Tianji Zongpin. Quote. The origin of the ore in his hand quickly emerged in the book of Tian. Turned out to be a top treasure in Tianji Zongpin. The spirit pearl space actually wants to devour such an ore. What effect does the honeycomb magic iron have on the spirit pearl space? I don't know what this spirit pearl is, Dragon Ball, or other exotic treasures. Yi Yixing frowned slightly. He had guessed the spirit beads in the body, but he still couldn't know its true origin. Even the wordless scriptures had no effect on it. Obviously, the rank of the spirit beads even exceeded the capacity of the wordless scriptures. How? Okay, then I'll give it to you and see what happens again. After Yi Yixing knew what was in her hands, she no longer had the desire to suppress the spirit beads. As soon as her mind moved, she put the honeycomb magic iron into the spirit beads space. After entering this place, the whole honeycomb magic iron disappeared, so it completely melted in the space of spirit beads. But immediately following, I saw that in the space of Lingju, there suddenly appeared strange weird space wormholes, as if the space had been completely punctured by numerous needles. That picture is terrible. Like a space, suddenly it becomes a sieve with holes everywhere. It's over, the space will not collapse, but I have all the strange treasures in it. Once it collapses, I will become a poor egg completely. In this scene, Yi Tianxing, who watched, was also trembling with tremor and frightened. In the space of spirit beads, all the most precious treasures on the body are placed. Once they collapse, those strange treasures may be drawn into the chaos of time and space. That loss is definitely a return to liberation. The whole heart is going to swell up. However, fortunately, this situation did not happen. Instead, after the appearance of numerous wormholes in the space, a mysterious force continuously poured out of the wormholes and poured into the space. The Lingju space began to expand naturally. Jian, each breath is growing. It was as if there were countless large mouths blowing into it. The magpie expanded rapidly from its original size of 3 meters. In a blink of an eye, it even doubled, and this is not the limit, it is still expanding. For this kind of change, Yi Tianxing naturally liked it, but there was no way to intervene. I just watched it, and couldn't make any changes. This change lasted for a full half an hour before it stopped completely. The dense wormholes that originally appeared around the space disappeared strangely. Instead, there is a spiritual pearl space where upside-down changes take place. The size has been extended from the previous length, width, and height to 3 meters. The size of the square has been expanded by 100 meters. The size of the space is really the difference between heaven and earth. The space that seemed to be a little crowded in the past became very empty. Those items occupy only a very small area. Unremarkable. This honeycomb magic iron has such a huge effect. At the beginning, the Shuangkong Yungkong stone only allowed the space of the spirit beads to open up 3 meters in size. Now a treasure of heavenly grades makes the space expand so many times. Really amazing. However, what kind of bizarre treasures are needed in this spiritual pearl space is really elusive. Quote. The variety of natural treasures stored in Lingju space is definitely not a small number, but it happens the space has no response to those things. What you need and what you are interested in can't be determined at all. Only like the present, directly from the spirit space to give birth to their own induction. Okay, you can load a lot of items right now. There is a space of hundreds of meters. It can already be used, but unfortunately, it can't hold living people. Yi Tianxing also secretly rejoiced in his heart. He also felt that it seemed that the wormholes had not disappeared, and faintly, he was continuously drawing the heaven and earth vitality from the heaven and earth into the space of spirit beads. It seems that Lingju space will grow up a little bit in the subtle way. As for whether this is the case, it can only be determined by looking at whether the space has changed in the future. I again took the last thing out of the stone box, and that thing was a fishing rod, And it is a whole body of green fishing rod, but the fishing line is transparent. This fishing rod is an extraordinary treasure. There is such a strange treasure, this fishing rod is really interesting. However, it is just an embryo, which requires a lot of energy to cultivate, but it is not very useful to me. This fishing rod can be used as a strange door weapon or fishing. How to use it is up to him, but for him now, there is no use for it, and he just throws it into the space of spirit beads. The other sundries in the tent were just some gold and silver, and some sundries. Yi Tianxing was inconspicuous, and most of them were searched from the human beings imprisoned here. He didn't move, but just put away the stone box. The material of the stone was different. Yi Yishan walked out of the tent. Outside, Cao Zhengchun had already greeted him directly and said respectfully, "Master, everyone has decided to follow you to the village. As long as you order, you can start immediately. Don't call me master, you can call me Yi Tianxing, or you can call me the village head. You are not a servant. Anyone who joins the village, all of them are Xuanwang villagers." Qi Yi Tianxing glanced at Cao Zhengchun and said calmly. He did not come by saying that he would be loyal, and that he must accept the Lord. This Cao Zhengchun is inferior in history. Such a person still retains the original memory. It is absolutely impossible to believe him in a short time. "Yes, master," Cao Zhengchun agreed, "but it has not changed. Look still respectful as usual. In this tent, there should be items that were previously robbed by ogres. Before leaving, everyone will go in and get their original things back. No matter whether it is more or less, there will still be some." Yi Yishanxing smiled and let the people around him enter the tent and get back the things that originally belonged to him. www.novelhall.com, the voice fell, and everyone else also entered the tent and found their original objects. Of course, there are more and less, some are destroyed by ogres, and some are left by people who were originally eaten by ogres, and are randomly divided. No matter who is more or less, no one really cares. In front of life and death, the things outside her body have become less important. "Master, this is the mind of the old slave, I hope you can accept it." Cao Zhengchun also entered the tent, and soon came out, holding a wooden box. When he came to Yi Tianxing, he bowed and said, "What is this?" Qi Yishanxing glanced and asked. Before, he didn't see the wooden box in the tent. Obviously, it should be blocked by other sundries before he could not see it. "This is the exercises and martial arts practiced by the old slaves. Now I am willing to dedicate to my master." Cao Zhengchun said firmly. Hen duo for many people, the cultivation of exercises and their own combat skills are all secrets. Although the strength of a practitioner is in itself, the same exercises can be either strong or weak. It cannot be the same. But as long as you have the heart, you can find flaws in your cultivation methods, which is almost equivalent to your life. He has given everything to Yi Tianxing without reservation. Yi Tianxing looked at Cao Zhengchun deeply, and said, "This is the foundation of your future standing. Gongfa and combat skills are extremely important secrets for any monk, especially the unique Gongfa is even more valuable. You have to know that once you give it to me, there will definitely be other people practicing it. You are sure to give." www.novelhall.com, welcome the book readers to read, the latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com, mobile users, please read. Chapter 76, Tiana Boy Gong. When Yi Gongxing arrived in the hands of Yi Tianxing, he would never hesitate to put it in the Tibetan scripture pavilion. This is absolutely no exception. The spreading of Gongfa can strengthen the foundation of the whole force. Only by making more people stronger can more powerful people emerge and make the village stronger. He's not kidding. Master, the old slave has long thought about it. Now that the world has changed, Gongfa and combat skills can only play the greatest role in the master's hands. The master's life-saving grace, the old slave can express his gratitude by only 1/10,000th. Cao Zhengchun's face did not show any resentment and heartache. His rich experience has made him deeply understand the importance of choice. Tianxi Tongzi Gong, King Kong Guardian God, Wanchu in return, Tianji's sword finger. These are all good skills and techniques you really want to dedicate to me. Yi Tianxing, after taking the wooden box and opening it, 4 jade books appeared in it. Picking them up and taking a look, they were all pretty good exercises. The Tianshang Tongzi Gong repaired the natural righteousness, and he was fierce and overbearing. Once repaired, the power is extremely strong. But the only taboo is to keep the body of the boy, not to break the body. Even the imagination maps in it are Tianji Zhengqi Bag Vision Map. That Zhengqi bag is the most pure. All Tianji Zhengqi is in the bag, sealed inside, without any foreign gas, naturally rigid, domineering, invincible. But if it breaks, it's as if a pinhole was pierced in the airbag to release the power in the bag. Naturally absent, most of them will disappear by self-cultivation. But Cao Zhengchun is an eunuch, and practicing this technique can be said to be very suitable. There is no need to worry about flaws in the exercises. The only weaknesses are not weaknesses. This practice is also the best way to build the foundation of Shanghai. The other doors are also very good. Such exercises are absolutely rigorous in the hands of ordinary people, for fear of being known. The old slave has been determined. Cao Zhengchun still said firmly. Well, I will accept these 4 exercises, and I will put them directly into the Tibetan scriptures later. If you donate the 4 exercises, then you can choose 4 same grades in the Tibetan scriptures French combat skills, or when converted into contribution points. Quote. Some people donate exercises, and Yi Tianxing will never hesitate. 1 for 1 is the plan given by him. 1 for 1, you can choose the same level of exercises for exchange. Of course, it can also be converted into contribution points. As for the system of contribution points, it has not really been perfected yet. But it is the future direction. Yes, Master. Cao Zhengchun still stubbornly called Yi Tian behavior master. This seems to be extremely firm. Even if it was Yi Tianxing himself, he could only shake his head helplessly, ignore it, and look at it later. Let's go, I'll lead the way. Everyone will go back to the village with me. There is hot water and hot rice in the village, and the distance is not long. Moreover, I have opened a road. As long as you follow me, there will be no problems. I immediately did not hesitate to lead the way. This time I returned, faster than when I came. There is a road that was split before, and it is very easy to walk, and the distance itself is not very far. Plus, no one wants to stay in this horrible jungle. Each one supported each other, quickly followed Yi Tianxing, and moved forward all the way. Cao Zhengchun stood directly and consciously behind the team. Avoid accidents. This subconscious act also shows its old-fashioned side. The speed of returning was very fast, and soon came out of the jungle. Back to Xuanwang village. I saw Yi Tianxing returning with a large number of people, Huang Chengyan, and they were frightened. In such a short period of time, they could bring back so many humans. It is difficult to be surprised. Zhang, after giving the person to Huang Chengyan and others, he didn't stay, turned around and entered the jungle again. No delay at all. He believes that for those newcomers, Huang Chengyan can definitely arrange them properly without having to worry too much, but going to another village is the most important thing. This time it was just an accidental episode and it was not enough to change his plan and schedule. But this unexpected joy also brought a new source to Xuanwang village. To some extent, the population crisis in Xuanwang village has been alleviated. Go back to the original path and go forward again. I still did not hesitate to use the tang knife to open a road forcibly. As long as all the grass and trees in front of me could be cut off, they would never go around. They stumbled in this almost primitive jungle and split a road. Oh, there is a strange fragrance. Is there an elixir nearby? While opening the road, a scent of incense passed into the nose with the breeze blowing from nowhere, and the scent was very fresh, but it could not escape the smell of Yi Tianxing, and it was captured instantly, and the first time in my mind a thought emerged. Ling, there is an elixir in such a jungle, and Yi Tianxing would not be surprised at all. The more puppets are in the primitive jungle, the richer the elixir that grows, the greater the chance. As soon as I thought it might be an elixir, Yi Tianxing suddenly felt excited in his heart, immediately stopped his footsteps, and carefully felt the scent that was intermittently transmitted from the air. This scent was very tempting. I don't know if it is the elixir or the fragrance from the fruit. I'll see what it is. Follow the direction of Yixiang, searching for the past step by step. After a while, I saw a fruit tree appearing in front of me. The fruit tree was not tall, only 2 meters high, and a green fruit was produced on it. The fruit was not large, only half the size of a fist, but on it, it passed a scent of fragrance. Obviously, it was about to mature. The amount of fruit produced above is not too much or too small, there are about hundreds of them. At first glance, it is rich in aura. What kind of spiritual fruit is this? Even an idiot can know that the small tree in front of it is definitely not an ordinary fruit tree, it is a real exotic fruit. But I have never seen it before. The Peiyuan fruit tree, which grows in a land full of vitality, is very scarce. The Peiyuan fruit that it produces has a strong aura, can be grown and cultivated, can be cultivated to build a foundation, has a solid foundation, has the effect of casting the foundation, and is medicinal mild. It can be refined into elixir to make spirit wine. I didn't hesitate in this regard, and directly took out the wordless script. A narrative about this kiwi fruit tree appears in the Wushu Tianshu. Turns out to be a fruit of Peiyuan, with mild medicine, capable of rapid growth and cultivation, and strengthening vitality, which has wonderful effects on building foundations. Moreover, it is the spiritual fruit of Xuanji. You must know that between heaven and earth, the spiritual medicine ranks are divided from high to low: God, Immortal, Heaven, Earth, Zan, and Yellow. 6 major grades, each grade is divided into lower grade, middle grade, top grade, best grade. The 4 major grades are 6 grades and 24 grades. The basis of the order is based on the final age that elixir can reach. Jia Wangji elixir is the limit for 100 years, within 10 years of the top grade, within 30 years of the top grade, and within 70 years of the top grade is 100 years. 1,000-year-old elixir is the limit. For 100 years, the top grade is within 300 years, and the top grade is within 700 years. The 3,000-year-old elixir is the limit. It has a quality of 1,400 years, a quality of 2,000 years, a quality of 2,700 years, and a quality of 3,000 years. Tianji elixir is the limit of 6,000 years. Within 3,400 years of quality, 4,000 years of quality, 5,000 years of quality, and 6,000 years of quality. The 9,000-year-old elixir of the Shenxian order is the limit, with 6,000 and 4,000 years of high quality, 7,000 years of high quality, 8,000 years of high quality, and 9,000 years of high quality. There is no limit to the elixir of gods for thousands of years. It is a congenital spiritual root, turned against the innate and turned to innate, born with congenital birth, and has infinite magical power. Can bring death back to life, can create all things. Wu Peiyuan fruit can rank among the best in Zan order, which means that it takes thousands of years for this Peiyuan fruit to blossom and bear fruit, and finally mature. This is the millennium fruit. This is a 1,000-year spiritual fruit, but it has not yet fully matured. Once it is fully mature, it should be richer in aroma, but now it is far from mature and should be extremely close. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and a dignified face appeared. He is not the excitement of finding the spiritual fruit, but the strong vigilance, without any intention to continue to approach the Peiyuan fruit tree. When the elixir of all fruits and fruits matures, there will inevitably be a variety of fierce beasts waiting for it, waiting for the elixir to mature. It can be swallowed to increase its own strength. Besides such a millennium fruit tree, www.novelhall.com, it is impossible to harvest in the dark without fierce beasts. And it must be strong. I really want to step closer. I'm afraid they will directly stimulate those guardian beasts. The most important thing is that at this moment, Yi Tianxing could not feel the existence of a nearby beast at all, and felt the powerful threat from the beast. It seems as usual. But Yi Tianxing obviously doesn't feel that there is really no beast guarding here. Be quiet. It's too quiet here. I didn't even have a call from a worm, and it was quiet and terrifying. Retreat. Step backwards step by step. At every step, a strong alert emanates from my heart. Tui Chu after exiting a distance, he turned back without hesitation, left the area completely, and continued along the path opened before, moving forward without hesitation at all. Sui Jie and as Yi Tianxing receded, in the shadows, there seemed to be a pair of eyes staring at his back, and eventually disappeared. There is not even a trace of air compressor. It's like an illusion. You haven't reached a certain level, you can't get near here. Tuo Li when leaving the area, while slicing through the thorns with a knife, he made a secret decision in his heart. That place is too scary and too quiet, and this is the most terrible thing. There must be some terrible beast monsters nearby. He did not even dare to make any noise, and did not dare to stay nearby. If you just can't bear the desire in your heart and rush to pick up Pei Yuanguo, it will be terrible, and you may all die completely under the tree. Yi Tianxing does not deny that. Just now, there is indeed a strong desire to almost rush over. www.novelhall.com. Welcome book readers to read and read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are in www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please read. Chapter 77, Yangjiakyun. Strongly pushed. Please recommend collection. Close black lens bracket. I didn't think about it anymore. Anyway, if the area where Peiyuan's fruit tree was located was not up to a certain level, he would never approach it again. Even the congenital yin and yang eyes did not see where the hidden beast was, which was beyond his ability. Keep moving forward. When Xuan split the thorns, suddenly, a touch of bright red flashed in front of her eyes. Ginseng berries are ginseng. I fixed my eyes, only to see, beside, there was a touch of plants like a small tree, and a bunch of bright red berries on it. These berries gathered together, like a very bright red flower, very eye-catching, provoked people pay attention. These berries are easy for Tianxing to know. This is a ginseng berry. According to legend, after the ginseng reaches a certain level, it will bloom and bear fruit. These berries are also the seeds of ginseng. When mature, they will be taken by birds to other places, and new ginseng will grow. Moreover, the berries themselves are edible, which also contains rich vitality and can nourish the body. The ginseng that can produce vermilion berries is definitely a vintage. Wild ginseng, don't miss it. A red rope appeared in the hands of Yi Yixing, and quickly tied the red rope to a branch. One end of the red rope was in his hand. Ginseng is an elixir. The ginseng with a high age can grow into a human form and possess spirituality. When picking ginseng, you need to tie the ginseng with a red rope at the beginning. This binding means that the spirituality of the ginseng will not dissipate. Without the red rope tied, the elves in the ginseng will run away. Even if the ginseng is dug out, in the end, the efficacy of the ginseng will be greatly reduced. The spirituality of ginseng is gone. Ran away. In fact, in the traditional ginseng pickers, the rules are more stringent. When ginseng picking, each person holds a sling stick commonly known as a solo stick to press forward to find the ginseng. Called immediately when ginseng was found, mallet. It is said that with a mallet, ginseng will be anchored and no longer escape. Then, he covered it with a straw hat to make the ginseng capture, and tied the ginseng to a branch with a red rope, so that the ginseng was caught. The ginseng's language is also particular about it. Digging the ginseng is called lifting the ginseng, which is full of respect. With these things, Yi Tianxing naturally wouldn't be so tedious. Tied with a red rope, it can already make the ginseng spirits not disintegrate and maintain the spirituality in ginseng. After doing this, I picked up the spatula and began to dig carefully on the ground. The soil was divided a little bit. In a blink of an eye, a yellow ginseng appeared in front of the eyes, the size of a carrot, with a lot of roots on it, and it looked like a three-pointed humanoid. Yi Yixing can feel a strong vitality hidden in it. 300 years of wild ginseng. Yi Tianxing carefully held ginseng in his hands, and could not help but give birth to a trace of joy. The mulberry elm harvested by the east lost. I did not expect to see the Pei Yuan fruit tree but could not move. I could only turn around and leave, and I found a 300-year-old ginseng. Life is full of surprises everywhere. Yi Yixing also smiled on her face. Without any hesitation, the whole ginseng plant had disappeared from her heart, and when it appeared again, it appeared in Dantian. In the Dandan field, that piece of Lingtian has grown into a piece of rice, and it is growing faster than usual. It is nourished by Reiki every moment, and it is difficult to grow unhappy. These rice grains are about to mature, and the grains are full and contain a touch of aura. Although they are not Lingmi, they are far more than ordinary rice. This is the magic of Lingtian. It is a pity that it is only a few points in size. During this period of time, it has continuously learned the strength of the heavens and the earth, and even raised Dantian's life at its own true temperature. Fate, the difficulty is to open up. As long as it is opened up, you can draw the vitality of the world and grow up and derive it yourself. Moreover, the cultivation of spiritual plants and elixir, the natural properties of these elixir will also become the spiritual field of Dantianzhang. Nutrients make the soil of Lingtian become more fertile and increase naturally. As soon as my heart moved, a small pit appeared in Lingtian, and the ginseng plant also appeared naturally. When it fell in the pit, the soil was automatically covered up and the ginseng was buried again. The ginseng berries on ginseng will soon become seeds. Falling in Lingtian, new ginseng will grow. Okay, I will build my own medicine garden in the future. This quarter will become bigger and wider. As long as you cultivate well, Dantian Mingji is the strongest foundation of every monk. Quote. Yi Yixing glanced at Lingtian again, full of hope in her heart. As Shouwei strengthens, Dantian Mingchao will continue to grow and change. In fact, in the body's spiritual field, not only ginseng, but also some other elixir seeds are planted in the spiritual field. They were some elixir seeds traded from the merchants, and they were not too precious. They are some ordinary seeds such as Wangjing and ephedra. There are no real elixir seeds at all. However, planting can make up for the shortage of traditional Chinese medicine in the village. After gaining unexpected joy, Yi Tianxing opened his way again. Along the way, it is impossible to avoid the scene of killing with ferocious beasts and poisonous insects. In the jungle, there are too many murderous things hidden. This walk took several hours, and even lunch was settled on the road. Imperceptibly, they have passed through the dense jungle. I left from the inside, and my vision widened. Suddenly, a plain appeared before his eyes. On the plain, there is a lush meadow. A village stands on this plain, but the village looks extremely humble, and what really catches the eye is a torii, a mansion, and the rest are arbitrarily built sheds, thatched houses, and a piece of wood outside. The wooden fence directly nailed to the ground is not even a wooden wall. In contrast, Xuanwang village is a luxury villa in the city, and the one in front of it is the ruined countryside. On the plaque, several ancient urns, Yangjiakyun. This village is called Yangjia village. After seeing Yi Yixing at first glance, a thought appeared in her heart. This is obviously the name of the village. The surname of the person who established this village is Yang. Later, a thought emerged. Obviously, this should be the name of the owner of the village. Generally, such village names have a direct connection with the founder. There are traces of killings all around, and there is a ***** smell. Moreover, according to the concentration of ***** smells, the time of the last killing is not long now. The fence has broken marks, and the killings have spread to the village. It seems that this Yangjia village suffered the attack was not serious. Quote, I was outside, and I could see a lot of problems at random glances. This Yangjia village has an army, a regular army, with a high degree of integrity, and even the soldiers dress the same. This is a complete army. However, the number should not be too much. Behind the fence of the village, you can see that a soldier stands with a spear in his hand and is covered with a carcass. Some people have broken the carapace. The crack is a scratch. His face was all pale, with a look of exhaustion. These are the soldiers who have survived the violent killing. At the gate of the village, under the archway, the two soldiers stood on the left and right, glanced around sharply, and saw Yi Tianxing coming out of the jungle. Yi Tianxing's dress made them vigilant and saw him straight walking towards the village. The spear in his hand was swinging at the same time, crossing the door of the village, coldly scolded. They had never seen Yi Tianxing in the village before. I'm a stray person in the wilderness. I suddenly appeared in the jungle before, and I don't know what happened. I suddenly appeared in this world, and it was so easy to come out. This is not to see a village here, and I want to come in and drool. Quote, Yi Yixing said calmly. He just described himself as a person who suddenly fell into the mountain forest and walked out of the mountain forest alone. It's always easy for someone to be less alert. Forget it, let him in. They are all human beings. The world is too dangerous. It can be a fate to come to our Yangjia village. We in Yangjia village accept any human people. At this time, a young man in armor the man walked out, showing a hint of majesty that he had experienced in the military. There is a convincing power in speaking and acting. Yes, Major General, Shi Bing. After hearing the two soldiers, www.novelhall.com, they promised and let go. Thank you, Major General, Yi Tianxing said with a smile. At the same time, he was secretly looking at the youth in front of him. Its young and handsome appearance, coupled with the temperament of a soldier, his personal charm is quite good, making people feel good. There is a touch of leadership. If such a person grows up, it must be the material of the army commander. A clear-eyed person. Bu Yang, thanks, in this world, there are brothers all over the world. As long as they are human beings, they are their own people. It's dangerous outside, come in and drink drool. Although there is not enough food here, hot water is still available. The young man said with a smile. The two generals just called you Major General. You are named Yang. Yi Tianxing followed into the village, asking casually as if in his mouth. Bu Kuo, yes, this Yangjia village is a village established by my father. Although you live here, as long as you are willing, no one will drive you away. The youth said with a smile. My surname is Yi Tianxing. Yi Tianxing nodded with a smile and agreed. It turned out to be a strong man. The young man looked at the battle spear on Yi Tianxing and dragged a ferocious crocodile. This crocodile was also one of the reasons why the soldiers did not dare to let him enter the village. My surname is Yang, and my name is Yanping. Brother Yi can call it whatever he likes. Here, everyone is just like his family. My father and I will definitely protect the people in the village and never let the people die innocently. Brother Yang is polite. Yi also has some force. If it is really dangerous, I can also fight on the battlefield. These days, in this mountain forest, I have not encountered any beast monsters. www.novelhall.com, welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all at www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please go to read. Chapter 78. Yang Yanping. Monday, Please recommend collection. Close black lens bracket. Thank you Brother Yi. To be honest, these days, we have been unable to resist more and more monsters that are getting stronger and stronger. We can still resist at the beginning, but now we have some powerlessness. The first 3,000 Yangjiazhen, now only there are less than 1,500 people left. Everyone died in the war against those monsters, and there were too many of them. Quote. Yang Yanping heard, with a smile on his face, said happily. Secretly in his heart, this Yi Tianxing was dressed up, unexpectedly, independent, with a war spear behind him. The world has changed, and now there are more than 10 or 20 days. He can survive in the jungle for so long. The strength is certainly not weak. If he can help when fighting with monsters and beasts, it will also be a great help. He didn't understand his personality a bit. Now it seems that he is also a temperament person and worthy of a friend. I don't know why, he felt the name Yi Tianxing was familiar. As soon as I came in, I already felt that on the outside land, there was a huge **** smell of death. The blood had stained the ground red, and the fence around it was stained with blood. I didn't know that I came to attack what kind of monsters are in the village. If I read correctly, this army in the Major General's village is not a miscellaneous soldier, but an elite. With the strength of the elite army, they have lost so much. The enemy facing them must be extraordinary. Qi Yishanxing did not pretend to be mysterious, and asked directly. It's a wolf pack. It's a huge wolf pack. The number is tens of thousands, and each head is more than 1 meter high. It's about the size of an adult. Each head is very cruel. If you kill it, you can bite the soldier directly. It's dead, and there is a wolf king. That wolf king is very scary. He can send out a weird crescent blade to attack. Under that attack, no one can resist it. Especially at night, the power of those wolves will skyrocket. It's more cruel and more difficult to deal with, and a large number of generals die among the wolves. Quote. Yang Yanping took a deep breath and looked right. He did not conceal it and told what happened to Yang Jiakyun. These things can't be hidden from anyone, even if he didn't say. Yi Tianxing walked around the village and knew everything. There is nothing to hide. With his narrative, the past of Yang Jiakyun naturally appeared in Yi Tianxing's mind. It turned out that when Wanji merged, Yang Yanping and his father, several younger brothers, were marching and preparing to fight, but during the march, Wanji merged, and then appeared strangely here, entering a completely new world. Originally the enemy state no longer exists, and its own country is also completely collapsed. It is no longer there, and it is already a new world without a home country. Suddenly came to such a world, Yang Yanping, of course, they were at a loss for a while and were at a loss. In the original army, only more than 3,000 people were left and right, but there were tens of thousands of people who appeared at the same time. Faced with panic and fear, all kinds of people, even if they are not people in their own country, or even people from other worlds, are all human. His father chose to build a village order with him when he landed. He set up a village directly in this new world, Yangjia village, so that all the people who were horrified and frightened had reliance. In the face of more than 3,000 elite troops, I felt a strong sense of security. But it happened, terrible things happened. A variety of weird and strange monsters kept appearing. The first to appear was a group of scarecrows who would move on their own. Those scarecrows held wooden swords, a sharp bamboo pole, and spears launched attacks on Yang Jiakyun. For the first time, facing monsters that are completely beyond common sense, even if Yang Jiaxun is an elite army, his body still trembles. In ancient times, the fear of demons and monsters was absolutely not ordinary. In the face of powerful enemies, as long as they are human, they will never admit it, but they are facing these weird monsters, and the fear in their hearts naturally cannot be restrained. In the first slaughter, a large number of soldiers died. Rather than dying in the hands of a monster, it is better to die under his own fear. Other monsters appeared behind the tadpoles, including birds in the sky and a large number of wolves. As soon as the villages are found, they will rush towards the villages madly. Not only the soldiers die one after another, but also because of the lack of fortifications, even the villagers and people will die one after another. I can say that at the beginning, the entire Yangjia village was in danger of everyone. Fear is spreading, but even in this case, Yang Yanping's father still did not give up, with his soldiers to build houses, build fences, build various buildings, and build fortifications. Every day is spent in slaughter. Every day, people die, there are soldiers, and there are people. There are war dead and starved. Without food, Hunger is the most immediate problem before us. For this, the father and son of the Yang family, who have great talents in fighting and uniting soldiers, are obviously somewhat incompetent. Not everyone is all-rounded. This aspect of dealing with internal affairs is obviously their flaw. Coupled with successive killings and resistance to the impact of beasts and monsters, there is no time to manage the village at all, and the implementation is still military control. If it weren't for the current human population, which is facing the threat of survival, this management method would definitely be rebounded. There is no shortage of senior officials and honors in the world, and those people have bad tempers. Other monsters are okay to say that in the battles of killing and killing again and again, I found that although these monsters are weird, they are not immortal, but they are weird and strange in appearance, but the wolf pack is really terrible. The wolves are so vengeful. The first attack on the village was hit with a headache. Both the wolves and Yang Jiajin suffered heavy losses, but the number of dead wolves was still more than the soldiers who died in the war. There was also a silver-white silver wolf, which was shot blind. Closed one eye. This time, the wolves were completely enraged, and even the Wolf King appeared on the battlefield. Moreover, the Wolf King is also silver-white. Obviously, the silver wolf should be the son of the Wolf King before. After that, a large number of wolves went to the village to kill them every day. The Wolf King seems to be restrained by something, and has never really launched an attack. Otherwise, the situation of the entire Yangjia village will be in danger. I can say that the current situation of Yangjia village is worrying. Alas, Yang Yanping did not hide it. This is something everyone in the village already knows. Even if he doesn't say it, he can easily know it in the villagers' conversation. The conditions in the village are still very leaky. Brother Yi can move around in the village at will. There is not much food in the village, but hot water is still available. As for this beast in your hands, you still need to pay attention to these days. The people in the village haven't had enough to eat. When it comes to the back, Yang Yanping's face has a hint of embarrassment. He set up a village but was unable to feed the villagers, which made him feel ashamed. This is still supported by some of the military rations brought in at the beginning, as well as the beasts killed by these days, the flesh of the giant wolf. But there are too many people in the village. These things can only keep everyone under half full. Some elderly people even died of hunger. Fang, rest assured, I bring my own food. I will handle it. Yi Tianxing also saw the dilemma encountered by Yangjia village from the scene in the village. Short of clothes and short food, the people take food as the sky. This is already a big problem. Well, then I'll send Brother Yi here. The defense in the village can't be tolerated. I still have to go back to the army to prevent monsters from hitting the village. It hurts the villagers, Yang Yanping said with a smile. Brother Yang goes ahead. Qi Yishanxing nodded with a smile. After Yang Yanping left, Yi Tianxing was constantly looking at the scene in the village. The village has to say that the population is large, more than Xuanwang village. The population of tens of thousands makes this village look very huge, but everyone is gathered together, surrounded by the fire, with thin yellow muscles and decadent faces. The dazed breaths seem to dare not imagine the future. Fa Sheng, what happened these days has subverted their cognition. Yi Lin, who looked very elite Yang Jiajin, was successively broken and suffered heavy casualties. They have already lost most of their staff, and they don't know, www.novelhall.com, when Yang Jiajin can't resist the fierce beasts, what their fate will be. They also resisted, and rushed to fight together. There are many strong men who die on the battlefield. The death of a large number of humans makes the atmosphere in the village seem a bit low. Compared with Xuanwang village, this is obviously completely different. The mental outlook is very depressed. The key is to eat. They are hungry. I can't eat enough every day. When I am hungry, not many people are willing to talk. Food is given priority to the army. This is very clear to the people in the village and no one is in trouble. The monsters outside were amazing, they saw it with their own eyes. The army is now the backbone of their hearts, the biggest guardian. He who can protect their lives. As long as you are not stupid, you will not have other thoughts on this. Even if there is dissatisfaction, it will be in the bottom of my heart and will not be said. The emergence of Yi Xingxing also attracted many people's attention. Especially when he saw the huge crocodile dragged in his hands, many people's eyes began to light up after a sharp contraction. That look was a strong desire. The crocodile looks stubborn, but now it's dead. This is the food. Murmur. Someone secretly swallowed a spit. But no one dared to act rashly. Yi Tianxing dragged a huge crocodile lightly, and the war spear on his back showed that he was not a mess, there was really a bad mind. Before starting, weigh carefully. Can you get food from him? www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest, hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please read. Chapter 79, Crocodile Feast. Yi Tianxing came to a fire, tossed the crocodile in his hand, and threw it directly to the ground, making a very dull noise from the ground. This crocodile is very large, even if it is eaten by hundreds can be satisfied. This is a pile of food to fill your stomach. Its weight is not enough. And this rash move also made a lot of people who were hungry and occupied their heads awake. The glance towards Shang Tianxing was jealous. Don't dare to move easily even if it's secretive. Dear folks, don't be afraid. This crocodile is a prey I hunted and killed myself. The crocodile is very large and the edible meat is not small. The crocodile skin can be made into leather, the meat can be eaten, and the bones can be boiled into soup. As long as someone helps me make a delicious crocodile feast, the rest of it is all of you, whether it is soup or meat, you can give everyone a little energy and alleviate some hunger. Quote. I don't know which chef is willing to show his skills. Yi Tianxing looked at the large number of people gathered in the village, smiled calmly, and said slowly. He did not intend to give the entire crocodile to these people. Although the crocodile is not small, compared to the number of ordinary people in the village, this is simply a waste of money. It really has to be divided. One person can't even eat a bite of meat. It's good to get a piece of shredded pork. The crocodile was killed by him. He could not give it to others unselfishly, but he was hungry. In the world, anything that is to be obtained is not free. First of all, he must satisfy his stomach first, and the food cells in his body have begun to convey hunger. Although he also barbecues and cooks, he has to say that his craftsmanship is not superb. It can only be considered as an entrance and can be eaten. There is not a short distance from the true top food. There are so many people in Yangjia village, from the north to the south, Yi Tianxing really doesn't believe that there is no master chef in it. You have to know that the taste of food is delicious, but that will affect the ability of your own food cells. The more delicious is, the more amazing changes can be made in the gourmet cells. You can make your physical strength stronger. When I heard Yi Tianxing's words, suddenly, many people's faces showed changes. Obviously, they all have a certain confidence in their own cooking skills. Let me do it. At this moment, a rough-looking, black-haired man with a cape tied to the back of his head, burly body, carrying a bag on his body, walked out of the crowd with confidence and firmness, and came to Yi Tianxing. In front of him, shouted. Who are you? Yi Tianxing looked at the man who walked out, looked at his body, and looked like he had the temperament of a chef. He could see cocoons in his hands. This is a cocoon often touched by a knife. Obviously, vegetables are often cut with a knife. By the knife, it should be quite good. I am Lai He. My knife and cooking skills are absolutely first-rate. Lai He confidently looked at the big crocodile in front of him and said, this crocodile is huge and the most delicious position is the tail and the crocodile's fish palm. The tail is constantly swinging every day, the meat is delicious, smooth, it's not greasy, it doesn't get weary, the mouth melts, and it is rich in nutrition. It can be made into a plate of Cloud Dragon 3 appearances, and the fish palm can make a plate of Ice Fire Dragon Claw hands. I looked at the crocodile, his eyes were glowing. This is the gaze that a chef only emits when he sees the top ingredients. In the first time, he has already identified where the most delicious part of this crocodile is, and, in an instant, he has already decided what to do. Go and cook one of the most delicious dishes. He has never seen such a big crocodile. Even if it is free, he has to make a dish by himself. Okay, the crocodile feast is up to you. I can provide whatever tools you want. Pots, bowls, knives. Seasoning, ingredients. Yi Tianxing heard that the desire for food in the body instantly occupied soul. Give birth to a strong desire. Just listening to his description, there was still a sense of eagerness. Every inch of flesh and blood in the body is craving for the best and most delicious food. Voice room, iron pot, spoon, bowl, various knives all appeared in front of one another. No one saw how these things appeared. The inexperienced means in this scene also made the people around them more shocked, and their eyes on Yi Tianxing became very different. No, I have my own knife. I'm a cook. How can a guy who eats don't take it with him? Lai He put his backpack on his back and put it down. As soon as he opened it, he saw that there were various things in it. All the tools are available. Chef knives, vice knives, paring knives, deboning knives, poultry knives, slice knives, meat knives, fillet knives, etc. It is the sharp light that Nikkei and Moon have sharpened. The years of these knives are definitely not low. He must have spent a long time in his hands. These knives are actually made of black iron. Some blacksmiths in the crowd saw that the corner of their mouth was a rush of savings, and they recognized the materials used for these knives. This is simply the hard-to-find black iron. Is this a kitchen knife? This is more precious than gold. Take a look. What is professional and what is professional? This is professional. The knives used are all made with the most advanced materials. The tools that Yi Tianxing just took out, compared with these black iron knives, are weak. Seeing Yi Yixing, he waved his hands and put away the knives, but he even looked forward to this lie he's cooking. Professional chefs can cook great flavors. A chef like this is definitely not the food made out of these two knives. With a crisp sound, Lai He pulled out the boning knife directly, cut it across the crocodile tail, and took a large piece of fresh meat from the tail. The piece of fresh meat revealed a hint of crystal. A fierce beast such as a crocodile has undergone a wonderful transformation in its flesh and blood, which is not as many times as the flesh of ordinary beasts. The more top beasts, the more amazing their meat quality. At the first shot, Lai He's entire mind was completely immersed in cooking. After cutting a large piece of flesh from the tail, he immediately cut off the two fish palms with a knife. I want 3 chefs to fight for me. Lai He said to the crowd. I come, count me in, my fireman is good, I'll set fire, control the fire. Immediately, 3 chefs who are also proficient in cooking have stood up without hesitation. From the recent knives, we can see that Lai He's craftsmanship has reached an extremely superb level. From the blade into the meat, to removing the piece of meat from the corpse. The speed and the process are all flowing. This is the point at which the knifeman has become skilled. Any fleshy texture is textured. The top knives can clearly feel the texture inside when they cut the knife into it. The blade cuts past the texture and separates flesh and blood without effort. Such knives can't be trained just by hard training, and they need top talent. When they saw Lai He wielding the knife, they were all in one size, without stopping. This is already the performance of top knives. I now heard the call and immediately scrambled to stand up. One took out the firewood quickly and set the fire on fire. Man who is doing a fireman. You too, take one out and prepare ginger, shallots and garlic. Ginger shreds, shallots shall be long and garlic shall be broken. Lai He glanced at the 3 of them and said directly. Yes. A chef quickly picked ***** and garlic from Yi Tianxing. Ginger is old ginger, garlic is full of grains, and green onions. Green onions are planted in Lingtian. With Lingtian, in order to eat well, he deliberately divided some in Lingtian and planted a little. The freshest. Ginger, onion and garlic are hot, this is the 4 gentlemen in the seasoning. The way its status is irreplaceable. When cooking, without ginger, onion and garlic, it naturally lacks a unique flavor. Master Gao Ming's chefs make their own sauces, using ginger, garlic, and other ingredients. That way, the effect is better. There is clearly no such condition now. The other one is to boil the water. The water has to be boiled. It just works. Lai He commanded again, www.novelhall.com. Immediately, Lai He also started to move, made a humble table in place, put the piece of meat taken from the tail of the crocodile on the cutting board and held it in his hand. Lift the carving knife. With a wave of his hand, the carving knife has entered the meat block and moved quickly. The blade's movement is not a straight line, but it is constantly changing. Each knife is flowing, which makes people feel extremely comfortable. This is a sense of art that the craftsmanship has advanced to a point where it can be intrigued. Wow! In just a few breaths, I saw that a large piece of meat had been separated, and small pieces of meat were scattered randomly, spreading like petals, and then, in the middle, was a lifelike true dragon. Zongya dance claws, and even the scales of dragons and dragons, are all lifelike, like a real dragon, which must rise into the air and travel around the world. It's really wonderful. A superb sculptor can sculpt a piece of meat directly into a dragon shape, so that the dragon shape does not fall down, and the shape and spirit are there. It is really good. Even if Yi Tianxing saw it, he couldn't help it. Secretly. Any skill, reaching a certain level, is as perfect as art and pleasing to the eye. He has seen carvings on fruits, carvings on vegetables and radishes, and carvings on tofu, but this is the first time he has seen carvings on raw meat. God is so skillful. He followed, and saw a dazzling cooking technique, and even he took out the concentrated and unique flavoring from the package he brought with him. The sculptured dragon-shaped raw meat was passed directly in the boiling water. In boiling water, it really swims with a real dragon. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest and fastest, the most popular serial works are all in www.novelhall.com. Please read for mobile users. Chapter 80. Glow Food. Although it was just rolled in boiling water, it was quickly removed, but the residual bloodshot blood contained in the raw meat was completely filtered out. At the time of the sculpture, the blade had opened a gap in it, and once the boiling water was washed a little, all the blood in it was removed. Originally, there was some dark red raw meat, which became crystallized at once, exuding jade light. The brilliance born of Shuan is like beautiful art. Remaining bloodshot blood in raw meat will destroy the beauty of the meat. This water is to remove these blood and blood. Makes the meat more pure. Then, it is another action, with various spices and ingredients to make the perfect seasoning in its hands. Then pick up the steamer and put it on the pot, add water to the pot, not just water, and put unique flavoring agents in the water, and then put the prepared dragon-shaped meat on a plate, put it in the steamer, and cover it directly on. The fire boiled the water, and then turned to a low fire, steamed a cup of tea for me, and then fired a cup of tea for 9 times in a row. Can you do it? He told the chef who controlled the fire. Commanded. It can be done, the chef agreed without hesitation. Wu Lihei did not pause, and started making fish palms again. This is the crocodile's fish paw, which is the same level of superior ingredients as the bear paw. As long as it is cooked well, it is the top cuisine. If the cooking is not good, the taste will be worse. If the fish's palm is to achieve 3 points of flavor, it must be cold and hot 3 times. The ice and fire are tripled. Put them in boiling water first, then pass them in ice water, and cycle 3 times in sequence. In boiling water, the meat will be soft, absorb the flavor essence in the water, and cool it with ice water, which can lock the flavor, not only does not dissipate, but also fully integrate into the meat. The ice and fire triple the sky, let the delicious essence in it accumulate again and again. Every flesh. Quote. Shi Lihei started to make a second fish palm, which was braised in ice and fire. During the production process, people around the world subconsciously gathered outside and watched it carefully. The process of watching is simply not aware of the passage of time. That brings a pleasing pleasure. There is nothing uncomfortable or vulgar about cooking. This is an art. Cease the fire, get out of the pot. I don't know how long it has been in the past, 2 dishes have been completely prepared. Cover the surface with an iron cover. Let the aroma inside not leak at all sealed. Mr. Please, taste. Lihei put the 2 dishes on a rough long table, and made a gesture to Yi Tianxing. Just taste the chef Li's craftsmanship. Yi Tianxing already has an impatient feeling. Even if you don't see the final food, the cells in the body have been fully activated, and every inch of flesh is moaning. People around looked at Yi Tianxing and sat down in front of the long table, all intently looking at the 2 iron hoods in front of them. They had already been eager to wear the dishes cooked by the skillful cooking, and they could not wait for them immediately see. Many people are already secretly swallowing saliva. Please taste this first crocodile feast Yunlong Sanjian. Brush. Shi Lihei reached out and untied the iron cover on the first dish. With this opening, it seemed that a light would bloom from the iron cover. It's just that the light is not strong, but you can see the light. There is light, I see the light. Zenmi, how can this be, how can the dish made shine? Is this a dream? Although the light is not strong, I can never read it wrong, but there is light emitted from the iron cover. Is this a miracle? The chef can reach this level. Glare, dazzling light, what's inside there, how can I not see clearly? Dragon, I saw a dragon. The iron cover was lifted, and under the light, many villagers, eyes closed subconsciously, their faces showed an unbelievable look, and the dishes they made turned out to be light, which is a subversion of everyone's perception. This has revealed the extraordinariness of this cuisine, which has exceeded the boundaries of ordinary cuisine. The most fantastic thing is, in which light I can see the clouds rolling, a crystal real dragon is swimming, and the dragon-shaped figure is looming in the clouds. Every expression is vivid and lifelike, hiding in the clouds like a real dragon. Only scale claws can be seen. That picture is full of shock. The light only disappeared after just a few breaths. If there weren't too many people seeing it, hardly anyone would believe that what they had just seen was true. Glowing food. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and a strange fragrance was continuously passed into the nose. It was an unspeakable strange fragrance. That strange fragrance was the cloud surrounding the outside. A crystal real dragon appeared on the plate. Knowing how to deal with it, it was so shiny that it looked like no impurities. Crystal clear, it feels like you don't want to destroy it. I took out a dinner plate, a knife, and chopsticks. Put them out in order. He took a table knife and cut a piece from the crystal dragon. But without waiting for the knife to cut up at all, I saw that the entire crystal dragon suddenly dispersed and turned into pieces of meat thin as cicada wings, crystal clear and clear in texture. This meat carving has been cut before. This sword work is truly amazing. Put down the knife, then pick up the chopsticks, pick a piece of crystal meat from the inside, and put it in the mouth. A strange scent resounded in the mouth, one word, that is fresh. The umami taste has reached an extremely amazing level. Can stimulate every cell in the whole body. Moreover, the slice of meat is extremely tender and smooth, but not greasy. The entrance is instant, turned into a warmth, down the throat, fell into the belly. The ultimate taste completely opened up the taste buds, and every cell in the body was groaning cheerfully, jumping for joy. Every pore in the body is opened and immersed in it, it is really wonderful to the extreme. Compared with this Yunlong Sangxian, the food he made before is just rubbish, a pile of groceries, just the most common food, and even food is not even called. This contrast is the gap between heaven and earth. This is the real cuisine, this is the top cuisine that is really cooked by the chef. The meat is smooth and not greasy, the mouth is melted, and a umami fills the entire taste buds. It opens my pores all over my body. It is so delicious. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, even if he was breathing. The strange umami taste has infinite aftertaste in the mouth. This is real food. Just the wonderful feelings obtained from the taste buds, the food cells in the body have begun to draw the vitality of the world from all around. Continuously integrated into the blood and flesh and bones meridians of the body. The strength of the whole body is constantly increasing, which is skyrocketing. Under the stimulation of food, the cells in the body have gone crazy. It is unknown how many times the absorption of heaven and earth's vitality has been increased. Yi Yixing clearly felt that the strength in her body was increasing. The rate of increase of tadpoles is really too fast. It is increased by hundreds of kilograms per 100 kilograms per breath. In just a few moments, a few thousand pounds of power were added. Moreover, the chopsticks in Yi Tianxing's hands didn't have any pause at all. He started like the wind and clamped the perfect piece of meat again and put it in the mouth. Whether it is the speed of picking vegetables or the speed of eating, it is equivalent. Fast, but it did not give people any gobbling feeling, but there was an illusion that it should have been this way. In just a moment, a large plate of meat pieces have all fallen into the abdomen. The plate of meat pieces is the weight of 3 or 4 people. But it was easily eaten without any pause. After eating, suddenly, the body's life-killing food tripod directly swallowed the food that was eaten in the belly. The 3-legged 2-eared tripod flashed naturally, and the essence of the food was continuously refined. Eventually it turned into a crystal-like spurt of fine gas, like a chi gas, into and around the body. The essence of food is even more attractive to gourmet cells. Make cells more active. The vast amount of heaven and earth vitality was drawn from the heavens and the earth, but strangely, no vision appeared outside the body, as if it were ordinary. The flesh is getting stronger. Each inch of the body is undergoing metamorphosis, the bones are more dense and firm, the membrane is tougher, the flesh and blood are more powerful, and the meridians have become stronger and stronger. www.novelhall.com. This is a comprehensive improvement. Such a food, the stimulation of the food cells is too great. Every breath is skyrocketing. The strength is an increase of several hundred pounds to several hundred pounds. Vaguely, a wonderful transformation is taking place in the flesh, body. Good craftsmanship. Even Yi Tianxing couldn't help but sigh again. Please taste this copy of Ice Fire Dragon Claws. Lai Yi's face showed confidence and unveiled the second gourmet. At the moment when the iron cover was uncovered, there was also light blooming, and it seemed that a dragon claw was waving. In a blink of an eye, a whole crocodile palm has appeared in front of the eyes. The fish palm has a sauce red, but has a seductive fragrance. It can be said that the color and fragrance are complete. The crocodile palm is rich in protein, and the meat is rich and juicy. Wu Yixing didn't hesitate, put the chopsticks aside, directly reached out and grabbed a crocodile palm in his hand, and put it down by the mouth. Taking a sip, The full juice contained in the palm of the fish fills the entire taste buds. Braised and soy sauce lies in the taste. Only with the taste can the unique taste be conveyed. As soon as the flesh entered the mouth, Tianxing felt that the entire taste bud was exploding. It's really wonderful. In the excitement of food, without any hesitation, I opened my mouth and swallowed it. The quality of the meat was too crispy. Various flavors flowed on the tip of the tongue and the aftertaste was endless. Unconsciously, a crocodile's palm has been thoroughly eaten. There was no shred of meat, and even the bones were chewed and swallowed. Those bones are all soft. www.novelhall.com. Welcome the book readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serial works are all in. www.novelhall.com. Mobile users please read.